What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? This is Kush back at it again with another episode of the Just Chillin podcast call-in show. Am I live? I should be live. I'm not seeing live. Okay, I'm live. It just loaded on my YouTube. What's up, everybody? Shout out to everybody in here. Let me quick shout out to everybody. Nate Talks Giants, Jaden Champ, Viz Ed, Logan's Giants Zone, Football Talk with Benny, Edward. Edward said I should do this. I mean, I plan to because KB kind of nominated every Giants video maker to do it, so I'm gonna do it eventually. Probably like later this month. But that was one of the things KB did in the vid. If you guys check that out, he was like he kind of nominates anybody to do it. David AV in here, and well, we're just gonna get right to it. Call-in show. You know, obviously earlier today, I held a 1-hour live stream to kind of discuss all the news we had up until that point. The members already have the link. It's in community notes. We already got a member in here. Shout out to Big Blue in the Bronx out here as well. Let's get it going with the usual first member out here, Mike Nixon. What's up, Mike?
What is up, Pub?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
How you feeling?
Can I just say that I hated how the press disrespected Dave Gettleman.
Specifically one person, I think you should say.
Yeah. I forget the dude's name.
Oh no, it was the female reporter, Kim Jones.
No. There was another person that was like, do you mind if I call you because how Gettleman's like kid and all that, and he was like, you mind if I call you an old GM?
No, I think that was a joke, but if there was anybody, I think that was definitely disrespectful to DG in the press conference, it was Kim Jones. I know who you're talking about. I took that as a joke. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Well, Entertainer doesn't seem that way.
I don't know. I guess it's a way of interpretation, but Kim Jones for sure.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So yeah, how you feel about today with free agency, man?
Is this the best question they can come up with?
Yes, thank you. I agree. These were some really bad questions. Like I don't know if it's like the Giants have restrictions or something.
Even though like they're not going to tell us who they're going to sign and stuff. Obviously. But I mean, I
like you could have still made better questions. Some of the questions were like really obvious stuff. Like, do you really expect them to throw Daniel Jones under the bus? Do you expect them to throw their rookies under the bus and stuff like that? It's just like you could have come up with better questions, man.
Yeah, for sure. I just love the way Joe Judge talks. He just gets me pumped up for football.
Joe Judge, the thing I always love is whenever he starts off his press conferences, and I think this is why they had so many bad questions. He starts off his press conference and answers a lot of questions before they even have a chance to ask it with all the information that he provides.
Yeah. Which is good. Now, you were about to ask me, how do I feel about what?
Yeah, about basically the moves that went down today.
Crazy, man. There's going to be a lot more cuts, I feel.
I mean, we specifically have to make cuts to even get the franchise tag on the books.
Yeah. And the way it's looking, it may be Nate Solder and Zeitler.
And at this point, I've kind of come to terms with it. Well, obviously, it's not like anybody really wants Nate Solder here in the first place right now. I've kind of come to terms with the Zeitler one.
Yeah. Because you mean guard can be a replaceable position.
You just got to make sure you get the right person. I mean, it's replaceable. Doesn't mean it's easy, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how'd you feel about tagging Leo, man? I'm surprised he didn't even mention that yet.
I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine. but with it, I just, I, ju- I just don't like how Fish Vegas doesn't like it. You know,
And there's gonna be people
he's
like that. Like the fan base is literally gonna be split on Leo. That is just how it's gonna be.
yeah. It's just I think that Leonard played an important role on our defense. Mm. And it I now I wouldn't pay him like 20 mil, but I'm willing to pay him 19 or 18 mil to
Hmm.
bring him back.
And right now he's
He's
at 19 with the franchise tag.
yeah, which I think is fair for him.
But what I think is gonna happen, what I don't want to happen is I think we're definitely giving this man an actual extension, not just a franchise tag, and that means he's gonna get more than 20 mil.
Yeah.
Like David AV just says 4 years, 80 mil. I don't know. Maybe I don't value Leonard Williams as much as I should, but I still don't think he's a 20 mil a year guy.
I don't either. You paid that to people like Aaron Donald, who's already proven Defensive Player of the Year awards, you know?
Hmm.
That type of player. And Leonard Williams, to be honest, really hasn't proved much.
And
He
shout out to Bobby Murphy in here because he brings up something I don't know if you saw, Mike. He says Leonard wants out of New York, Giants suck. Bobby, the Eagles fan, they give it to him. And then basically on Instagram, Leonard Williams liked the comment that said the franchise tag move sucked and he's gonna be out of here in a year. And he liked that comment. And people were
yeah,
going crazy about it on Twitter.
I heard he retracted the like.
I mean, once you like something, you can't. It's already out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
I will
mean,
say I don't think we should overreact about it because in Leonard Williams' shoes, the worst situation happened, which was the franchise tag.
but did you see his story? He looked fine. He
That's
looks fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From his perspective, from his money perspective, the franchise tag was the worst thing. I'm not sa- Excuse me, I'm not saying he didn't necessarily hate it, but from a money's perspective of the player, the franchise tag is always the worst thing to get.
Yeah. Which, I mean, obviously you shoot for the stars, but I mean I like it, and I hope he's here for a long time.
Hmm.
Cause
That only means extension, man.
yeah, 3-4 years sign him to, or a 4-year deal.
Hmm.
But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, pro days on Thursday on
And Rashawn
NFL.
Slater had his pro day today too. Killed
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh, did you see Greg Newsome?
I saw Greg Newsome. I saw because they're both at Northwestern. I'm gonna be honest with you. I paid attention more to Slater than I did Newsome. So you're gonna have to tell me what Newsome did. But I know Slater, like he just blew everybody out the water with the strength test, the agility test, the speed test.
I heard Newsome was ran like a 4.3.
I'm gonna keep it
Somewhere.
real with you. This is the second, third round corner in my opinion that ran a 4.3. I'm gonna just say maybe these numbers aren't exactly accurate. That's all I'm gonna say. This is the second, third round cornerback, or second round fringe third round cornerback that's running a 4.3. I don't know, man. What do you think, Mike?
I think Nate would have a lot to know if he's fast or not,
Mm-hmm.
because Nate is a Northwestern fan, so I'm pretty sure he'll give insight on it.
Yeah. he would definitely have something to see. I completely forgot Nate was a Northwestern fan, so that is somebody he probably looked at a little bit more.
Yeah.
Along with Slater, of course.
But I mean, Joseph Osai's gonna be on Thursday. I mean, if you want if the Giants are looking at receiver in the 3rd round, you could look at Amari Rogers from Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday is North Dakota State.
We all know the Eagles. Bobby, you're in here, right? Bobby Murphy. We all know your team's gonna be looking at North Dakota State's pro day.
Well,
don't try to get out of this one.
You never know. We could look at their offensive tackle, the Giants.
You really think so?
I mean, why not? We need depth. We only have Andrew Thomas and Matt Peart.
Mm-hmm.
Who else do we have that can play tackle right now?
For some reason, I'm just gonna assume we're gonna bring back Cam Fleming, but you make a point. You make a point.
Mm,
If we do bring back Cam Fleming, by the way, because he's currently not, because he's on the 1-year deal. If we do bring back Cam Fleming, then I think I'm fine. Offensive tackle depth. Maybe get another guy in the late rounds, but I'm fine for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike, let me get your last thought because I got to pop in Logan, the next member, up.
All right. Does everybody sub up the hub, and I'll see you, my dude, bro.
See you, bro. When do the Knicks play the Nets again? When is that? It's sometime. Is it later this month?
It might be. I thought it was the first game, but it's not.
Whenever it is, I'll be doing a Discord watch party. So if anybody's interested, make sure you're there that night. But thank you, Mike.
No problem.
What up, Logan? How you doing? Wait, Logan, I gotta ask you something before you even say anything about the thoughts today. Do you wear the same shirt every Tuesday?
Pretty much.
I bet. Okay, you could go.
I'm stressed today, dude. I have another midlife crisis. I don't like this Leo move.
Okay. Talk. Go ahead. Explain.
In my opinion, I've even said it before, the only reason we would ever tag him is if we were going to do a tag and trade.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think I feel like Leonard Williams hates it, and he's not going to perform as highly, so I feel it. I don't know.
Why do you think he's not going to perform as highly?
Because he's mad.
Because he's mad? Do you think Leo is that type of guy?
He's a greedy dude.
Would you really call him greedy, though? I mean,
no one says it was never about the money. It's about the respect. You don't get You don't get respect for money. You get respect by earning it.
Has he not earned your respect?
He's earned. I don't know, man.
What does he have to do to earn your respect? Put up a 15-sack season?
No, I'm not. It's not about the stats with me. It's about just him. He's not.
Okay. Tell me what about him he got to do to earn the respect.
Stop asking for $23 million when you're not worth $23 million.
I'll say that. I will say he earned 19 for sure. Edward Chan is saying he deserved 20, and I'll tell you this:
in my opinion,
he earns right below 20 for me.
I think he earned 20.
Okay.
And also,
so if you think he earned 20, why are you kind of uneasy with the move when he's not even earning 20?
I don't know. I just got this bad feeling. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I think Nate summed it up perfectly. Shout out to Lucas in here as well, another member. Everything's about the money. That's just how it is. And David brings up a good point. The cap will go up. I'll say this. This is a
That's
conspiracy
true.
theory. This is a complete conspiracy theory for me. Given how big and how lucrative the Dak Prescott contract is, and given how involved Jerry Jones is with just everything with
I
the
love that
NFL,
signing.
especially when it comes to cap and whatnot, Jerry Jones, he's like one of the richest owners in the NFL. I feel like he may have some behind the scenes knowledge about like, yo, the cap is gonna go up expeditiously next year or something like that. The complete conspiracy theory, and maybe we're gonna be completely fine next year. Maybe that's why he was so comfortable giving Dak that extension. But I mean, Jerry Jones does have his connections.
I'm so excited the Cowboys did that. That's gonna be fun for the next few years.
They won't be able, in my opinion, to sign anybody for at least the next 2, like including this. So this year and next year, I think. But after that, it's honestly fair game. They could really just cut a bunch of people, maybe.
Yeah. And but could the reporters ask stupider questions? I mean, honestly.
I was kind of annoyed with them. None of them were really. I mean, to be honest, going into the press conference, right? I'm not even sure what I wanted to know from it. Like I said before, I think Joe Judge himself in his introductory little spiel kind of gave us a lot of answers that like we were thinking about. So after that, I was just like, yeah, I don't. There's not really any questions I want to know about. So and then they go and they ask like, I don't know. They just didn't ask good ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that reporter was rude. You don't have a young O line if you have 2 linemen on your line above 30. Yeah, your starting left tackle just turned 21. Your left guard is under 25. Your center is just at 25. But you don't have a young O line.
And you're probably the right tackle as of right now because Cam Fleming isn't on the roster is also like
Yeah.
2021.
How are you feeling about Matt Peart next year?
I mean, listen, I'm not as high on Peart as like KB is, but I'm on the same like head of the Matt Peart train as he is. There's a reason I wanted him on the Giants before we drafted him, because I do think he has the potential to be our right tackle. I can't in good faith tell you that I know he's going to be a good right tackle for us because we haven't seen enough of him. Well, I haven't seen enough of him to be convinced that he is going to be a good right tackle for us, right? So it's just going to be, I got to see a little bit more. But honestly, it's not going to take that much to convince me because I'm already like both of my feet are on the train since last March. Both of my feet have been on train. No, last February I think was when I put that mock draft out. So I'm already on the train. I just got to see a little bit more.
Yeah, I think honestly, in my opinion, I think he can be a franchise right tackle.
What do you have? How much more you got to see about him, or are you already convinced?
I'm already convinced. I just got to see a little bit more improvement on his technique side of things, and I think it'll be good.
Mm-hmm. Lucas says it's a shame the Disney part of TV deals hasn't been finalized. It could blow up the cap massively. That's what I'm wondering. ABC deals, right? Because ABC is owned by Disney and whatnot. David says, who do they need to sign, or who will they need to sign, Hub? As of right now, I really don't know, because as of right now, we're in negative cap space. I don't expect it to be negative for too long, because by next week they're gonna have to free up this money to make sure just to do anything, in my opinion. I think we're gonna see cuts tomorrow or Thursday, in my opinion. But
sorry.
we'll see. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sad about Dalvin because the way they're talking about him, we're letting Dalvin go. We have to. So, I got a quick question. Are you looking at nose tackle in the second round now?
Not at all, no.
Mm-hmm.
If we let go of either of these guys, whether we let go of Leonard or we let go of Dalvin, there's already replacements on the roster. I'm not saying the production is going to be replaced, but there's replacements on the roster for now.
You think we could put Dexter at nose tackle and move BJ Hill to the left defensive tackle?
In what situation? I mean, yeah, that could happen, but in what situation?
I'm saying because
like if Dalvin walks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just because of his size, they're probably going to put Dexter there. I will say Dexter can be a good, left or right defensive tackle because he has great speed and agility and power at his size. But just because of the size, they're probably going to put him straight up at nose tackle.
I like BJ Hill. I think he has potential.
He definitely does. He holds the unofficial Giants rookie sack record because the official one is LT, and I think LT had like 8 or 9, but they didn't count sacks. So there's that. Shout out to James Soder in the chat. Thank you, James. I appreciate you, man.
Instead of cutting Zeitler, would you package him and Engram and trade him for a 4th-round draft pick?
Both of them for a 4th. I would hope to get more than a 4th.
Do you think we're either cutting or trading Engram, or do you think we're going to stick with him for another year?
Well, if we're gonna go off of what Joe Judge said, I was really surprised by how much Joe Judge likes Evan Engram. If we're gonna go off of that, we're probably sticking with him.
Then again, no coach can
What
just.
up, Jason?
Has there ever been a real coach who just like throws player under the bus and be like, "I don't want this dude on the team
There
anymore"?
has like at least no good coaches. I'll say there hasn't been a good coach, in my opinion, that's done that, right? So Joe Judge, he's a good coach. He's not gonna do that. But this wasn't just not throwing your player under the bus. This was straight up low-key praising Evan Engram. Like, he straight up said,
Stop the cap real quick. Pro Bowler Evan Engram.
Yeah,
remember that.
He was praising Pro Bowler Evan Engram, which I was surprised by. So all I could say is I was just surprised by it.
I'm a part of I'm the leader of the Evan Engram hate train. I want this dude off the team immediately. I think if he goes into a red situation, he could do good there, but just leave. Get off the Giants.
He can't be a number 1 target. At least not in his current mental state.
He
has to be like a 2 or a 3.
It's not physical with him. It's in here.
Yeah, 100%.
Are you looking at Brevin Jordan maybe in the 3rd round, or do you want to stick with Toilolo and Caden Smith?
If we do get rid of Evan Engram, as crazy. Well, it depends on everything else, right? If we get rid of Evan Engram, I would love to get a 1st-round wide receiver and then a 4th or a 6th-round wide receiver. And just for this year, kind of like how I'd be willing to do it with the edge rusher position, just for this year, I'd be fine rolling in with Caden Smith and Levine Toilolo, and maybe like another guy we signed for depth.
I like Caden Smith. To me, a tight end just needs to be a reliable guy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have to be. It's nice to have Kelce's and Kittles, but you don't need to have that, you know.
Mm-hmm. And Andy Garcia brings up a good point. He's like, we could always take away the franchise tag, and he says that because Gettleman did it with Josh Norman.
That's true.
That's a point to bring up. And Bobby Murphy, he says the Eagles are taking Chase or Pitts at 6. Are you scared? If you take Chase at 6, bro, I'm gonna cry because you're really gonna take Chase at 6.
The Eagles are stupid enough to take Pitts. I'm telling you.
Well, Pitts at 6 wouldn't be a terrible pick, but don't you guys still have Goddard? Dallas Goddard?
Yeah, they got
I don't know, unless they're going to try and run 2 tight ends again.
Bro, I hope the day that the Eagles go back to North Dakota State for a quarterback is the day I believe in everything.
Yeah, man. Logan, let me get your last thought, bro.
All right. If everyone in here, if you'd like, you can go sub to my channel, Logan's Giant Zone. I got 3 vids up there if you'd like. Thanks for having me on, man.
No problem. Peace, Logan.
Peace.
Next up, we got Ash Money Records. What up, Ash Money Records? How you doing?
What's up, Huff? How are you?
I'm good, man. How you feel about today?
I'm kind of conflicted. I'm not gonna lie. Before I get into that, I followed you on Twitter the other day.
You did?
I noticed you were Guyanese. I'm part Guyanese too, and
you are?
Yeah, people might not look at that as a big deal, but like where I stay at, we don't get that much I don't see that much Guyanese people, so I just want to say,
Hey, that's pretty cool. I like that because it's the same here. I'm out here in Queens, New York, and at least in the neighborhood that I live in Queens, there's not that much, but there's other neighborhoods where there's a lot.
Yeah, but I put out a video today about Leonard Williams, and my thing is, it's like if we are running the scheme that Patrick Graham wants us to run, which is basically the 3-4. That's mostly what we played. Then fine. Leonard Williams getting the money, that's fine. But I basically said in my video, I said the Giants need to get a deal done before March 17th, which is the start of free agency. Because if we just keep that tag on him and not, or like I forgot who said it, but they talked about Josh Norman getting he got tagged by Dave Gettleman and then let the tag go. And Fitz said this other day. He was like, today he said we're the only team that's like that tagged our defensive end, and that's just crazy to me. But like I said, the scheme that we're running, I don't have a problem with tagging Leonard Williams.
Yeah, because like I'm gonna ask you one simple question right now. Leo in this scheme was he really good?
Yeah, of course. Like just look at his production before he came to our scheme. Dude was basically a bust. What did the Jets draft him like?
At least he was a bust, at least if you consider the pass rushing ability, but he was always really good. He was always great in run stuffing.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, they're upset we're letting Dalvin Thomas go. I think defensive tackle was one of the easiest positions to fill outside of like special teams and like fullback. Like let's go back to like 2012, 2013. We had the dude who was on the Vikings, now he's on the Chargers.
Linval Joseph.
Yeah, Linval Joseph. Then we had Jonathan Hankins. Then we signed Snacks Harrison.
We always have really good, underrated, straight up great defensive tackles, nose tackles, and then we let them go.
We let them go, and we see Twitter Pro Football Focus. They bring up these stats, but there's been like these exact stats for like the rest of our defensive tackles in the past. Like I remember Damon Harrison, he had this crazy stat where he led the NFL in something. Now it's Dalvin Tomlinson. And I bet you he's going to be Dexter Lawrence. And I bet you when Dexter Lawrence leaves, we're going to find another defensive tackle.
I got an interesting question for you because everybody wants Lawrence to go over to the nose tackle. And I'm fine with that because once again, he 100% the size is there. But what do you think about just leaving him out at like left defensive end?
See,
because I think he can. I think he can do it.
He has the quickness and he has, we
definitely got the power.
And I think Patrick Graham's scheme is, it's built to put people, all over the defensive line. And what the Giants want to do, what I've seen after this season, we want to like rush by committee. Like we spent our whole, end of the draft drafting edge linebackers or linebackers. We took like Cam Brown, Tay Crowder, or what did Dave Gettleman say today? I forgot.
He said Tay Crawford, and immediately as he said that, I tweeted out they're gonna get on him for this, bro. Yeah. I could see the Twitter brigade coming at him for it.
Yeah, I don't like the media sometimes, but yeah. So, and this is kind of leaning towards a question I got for you. Basically, my ideal all-season situation. I really thought, like again, I'm comfortable with paying Leonard Williams, but if I was the general manager, I would have, but it has to do with like, if we're switching up the scheme and stuff, but I will let him walk and then like fill our defensive needs throughout free agency and then just go offense in the draft. Like just revamp on the offensive side in the draft, like the first 3 picks.
Ash Money, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How long you been watching me?
I just got into YouTube I started watching you like a month or 2 ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew you were like a big offensive guy, right?
Yeah, because that's what I've been saying for a couple months. My dream off season will be to somehow handle our defensive needs or most of our defensive needs in free agency and just devote the entirety of the draft to the offense. That's weapons, that's line, that's any type of help we need. Yes, I want to do it all in the draft. But the fact of the matter is it's real life, and that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, like the Raiders did it. And my thing was like, if we tagged Leonard Williams or if we didn't tag Leonard Williams, our problem would be totally off our hands because, the Raiders, they probably would have overpaid because I know on like Bleacher Report and like some things, they projected the Raiders to sign him if he would hit the open market. But listen, and I did another video. It was like my dream off season, kind of what like Kid Blue did. But I'm not getting looked at because I just started, got like 12 subscribers.
Go over there and check him out.
Yeah, but I said we should trade for Stephon Gilmore.
What are we giving up?
It depends. If I'm Joe Judge, forget Dave Gettleman. I'm Joe Judge. I'm calling a Bill Belichick straight up. I'm like, look, I'll give you this 2nd round pick this year. I'll give you Evan Engram because I know Bill Belichick. I just know Bill Belichick would love Evan Engram, and I'm sure Evan Engram would fix his catch problems over in New England. I'm sure Bill Belichick would take care of that. And I mean, is that not enough, or should there be more conditional picks for him?
I mean, Stephon Gilmore is probably the best corner in football. I feel like it would take more to get him.
Like, how much more?
I feel like Stephon Gilmore is worth like 2 first-round picks, bro.
2?
Didn't Jalen Ramsey go for 2 first-round picks?
Yeah, but
Stephon Gilmore is better than Ramsey. I mean, he has a Defensive Player of the Year award.
Maybe I haven't paid attention because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hear like Stephon Gilmore's name this season. So maybe
this season,
yeah,
I wouldn't even put that much to it. Like, we know what Stephon Gilmore is. The dude is an absolute beast.
Yeah,
He's one of the best, if not the best, you know what I'm saying, corners in the league. And I see Edward saying Gilmore isn't better than Ramsey. All right, you could have that opinion. He's in the same class as Ramsey. So he's going for more than a first, in my opinion.
Athletic corner. Like, he's more of a freakish corner, but I think Gilmore is more of like a technician, better technician than Ramsey. But yeah, basically not even trade for Stephon Gilmore, but like just, and people are like freaking out about cornerback.
Shout out to Kid Boo and KB. By the way, Ash Money, saw your vid, bro. He liked it.
Yeah, I love Kid Blue's work, man. But yeah, back to what I was saying, like, not even just trade for Stephon Gilmore. We don't have to address cornerback 2 this offseason. We could just fill up the defensive holes in free agency and in the draft. A lot of people want Kenny Golladay, but I don't think that's really that's a small chance as of now. But and listen, Curtis Samuel and Corey Davis might be our best bet, but people forget Curtis Samuel went to Ohio State. He has 2 teammates in Ohio State in Washington with Terry McLaurin and Chase Young, and he has his old head coach. So we might not even be a guarantee to get Curtis Samuel either.
Mm-hmm.
So really our best bet is Corey Davis. But yeah, I'm with you on totally like overdoing in the draft, and really Dave Gettleman's job depends on it. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It's just not realistic to happen. That's why it's called the perfect offseason,
Yeah.
But yeah, Ashwin, you got any other questions for me?
Not really. I just came on to give you my thoughts really about the offseason and
What up, Jay Berman in the chat?
Yeah. How do you think we're gonna clear up some of this cap space though, heading into free agency?
I think it was Logan that said it on the last call. It's gonna have to be at least the immediate cuts that I could see. It's gonna have to be Nate Solder and Kevin Zeitler, because they would immediately free up, I think, 18 mil. Because Zeitler would free up 12, and I want to say Solder would free up 6. So that frees up 18 mil almost immediately, right? So that would be the 2 guys that are next in line to be cut. After that, it's really anybody's game, because I thought we were going to cut Toilolo, but we kept him. So it's making me kind of second guess the smaller contracts that I thought we were going to cut. But it's really going to come down. It's just going to come down to those 2 at the very first.
Now, do you think if we get that money, do you think Dave Gettleman tries to, because we all know he tried to trade for Kenny Golladay or had discussions about him at the deadline. Do you think he's going to try to push?
Well, was that confirmed?
The trade talks?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was confirmed, but there was a lot of buzz. People were freaking out about it. Giants fans were freaking out about it.
Giants fans were freaking out about it, but I never saw any actual reputable sources saying we were trying to trade for him.
True.
That's why I'm like, if there was, then I see where you're going. If there wasn't, it's just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. But like I said, I just hope if he's playing on the franchise tag, if he's playing on the franchise tag, he's not going to be back next season.
Leo, yeah, I agree. If Wednesday comes around, next Wednesday, March 17th comes around, and he's still on the franchise tag, then it's going to be his last year with us, in my opinion.
I'm going to be furious, because then we're not going to have any room to move in free agency either. So,
what do you mean? Next year, we're all fine for cap space next year?
No, I'm talking about this coming off season, this free agency period, even to get additional help like smaller free agents instead of like a
I,
bigger.
I right now it looks bad, but I gotta say I feel like they're gonna do something to make it better because we're not. The only reason we're at where we're at right now is because $40 million of the cap space disappeared, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like they got a plan to actually make us have a good amount of money that we could work around and get players to help the team. That's what Joe Judge said at the end of the day, and Dave Gellman. The point of the offseason is to add players that can help the team.
Yeah.
I got a feeling they got a plan. I don't know what it is, but they definitely have a plan because if it was a regular offseason, like we would have been set.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at work when the press conference happened, so I didn't really. All I really knew about was like the stuff on Twitter and stuff. So, yeah, man.
But yeah, hey, thank you for calling in, Ash Money. Guys, go over there, check out Ash Money Records. Sports Topics, I think, is the full title, and thank you for calling in, man.
No problem, man.
Have a good one. Oh, and he's part Guyanese too, as well, guys. That's pretty cool. Are you like half Guyanese?
Yeah, my mom's side is half Guyanese, and my dad's side is Puerto Rican. Yeah,
right there around the Caribbean area.
Yeah, I also have another channel for those who like music stuff and stuff. I do music reviews and stuff like that, entertainment stuff. Ash Money Records Entertainment. So
that's where the records part of the name comes from.
Yeah.
All right. I was wondering. I have a good one, Ash Money.
No problem.
Next up, we got Nate from Nate Talks Giants. Here he is. What up, bro?
What's up? You surprised me there. I was scrolling memes. How you doing tonight, Kush?
I'm good. A little bit tired, but I'm good. What's up, man?
Big facts. There's a lot of that going around right now.
I was busy right until the last minute before the stream started. I just hopped in the chair and started it.
Big facts. I actually binged the pressers with Gelman and Judge about an hour ago because I was catching up on schoolwork today. But man, I hate the fact that they always do these pressers in the middle of school, so I can't watch it live. So everyone gets to see it and tweet about it before I get to watch it, and it's frustrating.
I mean, you could have always tuned into the Discord watch party.
I'm in school. It happens during my Spanish class.
So you tell me you can't pull up a separate tab, bro? Like,
you realize I go to school, right?
Oh, you go to school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that explains it. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Oh, no. I'm just such a good, responsible student that I never let anything distract me ever. I thought
you were still in online school, bro. I was like, you couldn't pull up a separate tab?
Dude, I wish I could.
But yeah, go ahead. Give your thoughts, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw in the chat you said you're chilling with the move.
I am. I honestly liked a lot of, like, pretty much everything they were saying in the press conference. But sure, let's talk about the Leonard Williams thing before we get to what they actually said. I think in the context of what they're saying about it, it makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you just think about Williams playing on this franchise tag, and that doesn't seem so good. But when they're talking about it, and they're saying explicitly that they're doing this as sort of a placeholder in order to further negotiate a deal, and that's all we've been hearing about. I really like that because what that tells me is A, they're trying to work on a long-term extension, which is what a lot of us wanted to begin with. And B, if that fails, now instead of just letting him walk, we're probably going to tag and trade him, which was honestly the second best option and to begin with in the first place. So I really do like the move. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. Hopefully, we will not end up handcuffing ourselves into paying him on a tag this year. That would Major League suck. But it is what it is at the end of the day. That's the risk you take. So hopefully we can get it to work out.
Shout out to Mike Nixon for the $2 super chat. He says, Nate is Newsome that fast. I need your review on him.
So, first off, no. He's a great player. I love him. I think he's got just so much of the intangibles that you can ask for in a player. He's mean. He's feisty. He's got an attitude on him. He's physical. I love that in a corner. I think he's a good player. I would love the Giants to take him in like third round-ish. He is not a 4.38 guy. No, that's not a thing. I mean, and Rashawn Slater, his numbers made a lot more sense. I actually pulled it up when Mike was talking about it because I had not been following it, but I pulled it up because I heard Mike was talking about Rashawn Slater crushed it or whatever, and I'm like, wait a second. Rashawn Slater's not that good an athlete. He did okay. He had 33 bench reps, which is really good. Which makes sense. He's always been a brute strength. He's had that physical raw power. I am not articulating myself well. 4.88 on the 40 makes sense. That feels about right. And then 7.48 3-cone makes sense. And then the arms were short, as we expect them to be, 33 inches. That's below average for an NFL tackle. So pretty much everything I expected it to be is what it was. Rashawn Slater, just for those who do not know, and for those who have not watched Northwestern football, first off, I do not blame you. You aren't missing a whole lot. This year was good, but recently you have not been missing a whole lot. Rashawn Slater is just an incredibly technically sound player. He knows how to use his hands. He knows how to get into his kick set. He's really great on the perimeter at neutralizing the athletic advantage most guys are going to have on him. So that's what makes him so appealing from a consistency standpoint. Problem is, he just doesn't offer that same ceiling that a lot of guys in this draft do. He does not come anywhere near a Penei Sewell type ceiling. He's probably not going to hit a Christian Darrisaw type ceiling. It's just...
He has a really high floor, though.
Right, exactly. That's what makes him so appealing. That's why people are mocking him so high. With his physical limitations, he's just not ever going to be that absolute star tackle, that Ronnie Stanley for the Ravens type guy. That's just not what you're looking at when you draft him. But again, the floor is super high. I understand the appeal.
I do think he could be a franchise tackle, though, not necessarily a superstar, but he could be a franchise like right tackle per se.
Sure, absolutely he could. And I think if you want to talk about him, I see him jack of all trades, master of none, is what I see in Rashawn Slater. I see a guy that can handle just about every move in the book, but I think once you get him facing Chase Youngs, and there are people out here who are saying in the Big Ten championship game in 2018, he handled Chase Young.
Listen, the only person who could handle Chase Young is already on the roster, bro. That's all I'm going to say.
I watched that game live. He did not handle Chase Young. Let's stop with the cap here. He played well against Chase Young. He did about as well against Chase Young as you could reasonably expect any college tackle to. I'll say that for him. But when you get up against guys like Chase Young, guys like Myles Garrett, who combine that incredible technical ability once they've been in the league for a few years with the incredible physical talent they already had, I just don't see him holding up too well. I think when you're looking for just a solid tackle, he's going to do that job. But then again, if you're looking for a solid guard, he's going to do that job. So I think what you're really buying with Rashawn Slater is consistent versatility. That's what I'd say.
And you know what? That's a pretty good, from both the Northwestern fan standpoint and obviously somebody that looks at the draft. That's a pretty detailed overview on who Slater is. Is he still, well, you said his ceiling might not be high as somebody like Darrisaw, so why would you have him ahead of somebody like Darrisaw?
Because his floor is just that much higher. I think when you look at a guy like Christian Darrisaw, who has some technique issues, Darrisaw, it should be noted, is excellent with his hands. He is as good with his hands as anybody in this draft, as good as Slater, definitely. But in the footwork, there's a little bit of some issues. He's not super strong in the run game. He's a good run tackle, but he's not as good as Slater. So I have Slater ahead of him because I think the floor is just that much higher. I have Slater as my second tackle off the board. I think Penei Sewell still goes ahead of him just because, my God, the physical ceiling is just ridiculous. Penei Sewell is the only lineman in this draft that I think has the potential to be wearing a gold jacket at the end of his career. And
that high.
My God, it is easy to see with Penei Sewell.
Is Penei Sewell better than the 4 tackles that came on last year?
Yes. Sorry. As a prospect overall or in ceiling?
Give me both.
As a prospect overall, I wouldn't say so, but in ceiling, definitely yes.
Even higher than, I think the guy who had the highest ceiling people would say would be Mekhi Becton. Yeah, even higher than him.
I think that depends on if Mekhi Becton can stay on the field.
So let's say Mekhi Becton stays healthy for the majority of his career.
If Mekhi Becton stays healthy his entire career, he's going to be one of the best tackles ever. So that's a little bit... I feel like that's detracting some realism from the situation. Because Mekhi Becton, when you have... pull up help in a separate tab. When you have a guy like Mekhi Becton who's that big and you have some of these injury concerns popping up early in the career, that's an indicator to me. So I don't believe Mekhi Becton's going to stay healthy consistently. I'm sure he's going to have stretches where he plays fantastic football. I'm sure he will. I just don't believe in him as a consistent
we
guy.
already saw him get injured in his rookie year.
Exactly.
He already missed time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Shout out to KB for the $2 super chat. I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat knows who Kid Blue is. If you don't, go over there, check him out. Check out his channel, sub him up. Young Guns tomorrow. Is it on? I think it might be on Kid Blue's channel tomorrow, right? Or is it on mine? What was the last Young Guns? March 3rd? Yeah, so then tomorrow it's on Kid Blue's channel at 9:30, guys. He says, pull up the hub on a separate tab. Who hasn't? LOL. Of course, if you've never pulled me up on a separate tab while you're like doing schoolwork to keep up with Giants information, I don't know what you're doing, man. That's because that's obviously what he's referring to. Shout out to Dylan Renner in the chat.
Yeah, by the way, Dylan, I'm so much less offended by you calling me a Jamar, I'm not going to say it on stream because you're monetized, a Jamar D rider than the fact that you called me Nick. That is so much worse to me.
Wait, how do you mistype Nick and Nate,
I don't
bro?
know. I don't know.
You should have just forgot his name for a second. You forgot his name for a second, Dylan. There's no
he did. That wasn't a typo. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it was a typo, that's one thing. But he intentionally said Nick and then realized, which that's not okay. That's not okay.
Exactly. But all right, you said you were going to talk about the Leo stuff first and then get to the press conference.
Sure.
Let me hear you on the press conference.
I loved everything they were saying. I think, first off, before we even get into the specifics of it, I love the fact that when Joe Judge talks, first off, we all know when that man talks and you listen to him give a speech, you are ready to run through a goddamn wall. And then Gettleman comes up right afterwards, and he is just looking exasperated. He is done with all these reporters.
I don't know why people don't love the fact that we have the most hilarious GM in all the NFL, all right? We got the funniest GM in the NFL, all right?
And he just gets up to the podium, and Joe Judge was just out here making us believe in the future. And then Gettleman gets up and he's like, okay, guys, I can't be answering these questions about the future. And he's in that thick Boston accent, and he's just done. And he looks like he needs a nap.
Bro, I said on Twitter, I'm like, I 100% understand why Gettleman only does these things like 3 times a year.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it makes sense.
Yeah. But getting into the specific stuff they were talking about, I think a lot of what they were saying made sense, specifically when Judge was talking about the receivers and talking about how we were going to bring in new talent this year. I think when he talks about they have to be a fit culturally and schematically, that's big facts, man. That's big.
Yeah,
big
like
facts.
Both of them said, we're not playing fantasy football, which I'm like, I never thought I had to hear a head coach say, because I feel like that should be implied, but we had to hear it because, well, a lot of fans think we do play fantasy football.
Yeah. And I mean, nothing is more exemplified by that than the fact that everyone was losing their minds at the Toilolo thing, which we've talked to death. We don't have to have a whole long spiel about it, but that is a perfect example of it. People just want everything to happen exactly how they see it happening, which just isn't realistic. That makes sense. So, just in terms of that, I love the mentality with going out and getting talent. That's why I'm not a big Curtis Samuel guy. That's one of the reasons I'm not a big Corey Davis guy. I just don't think either of them fit what we're trying to accomplish here.
I gotta ask you this, because I will never say on the channel that I have insiders, because I don't. But one of my subscribers, who I trust a lot,
I'm not going to say I have insiders,
DM'd me.
But I have insiders.
I don't. I really don't. I'm never going to say that, because there's actually, Giants YouTubers who tried to do that before, and like they got caught lying. So I'll never say that. But I'll tell you the situation, basically. One of my subscribers that I trust a lot, apparently he somehow has it, which is already kind of fishy. But what I
know who you're talking about, actually.
Okay, then what he was telling me is that, well, the Giants are probably going to sign Corey Davis. So how would you feel if that happens?
Okay, just to see if we're talking about the same person.
I don't think we should say it out.
I'm going to put it in the private chat.
Okay.
Just hold on.
Well, now people in the private chat are going to see it, but it's not like there's many people here, so
Right,
I guess.
Yeah.
Hello, Alex, in the private chat. Maybe.
Okay. All right. I know who you're talking about then. He was right the last time. He told me we were talking about some stuff before this year, and he was hitting the nail on the head with some stuff.
So how do you feel if we sign Corey Davis, bro? Because that's the message I got.
It depends on how much he's gonna cost, man.
He was saying a 3-year deal. Let me actually go in and check what exactly the money was there, because he specified the contract.
Did he really?
Yeah, basically it's gonna be around this.
Interesting.
Let's see. I gotta go into personal messages.
Please
3
do.
year, 36 mil, around that.
I don't love that move, honestly. I think Corey Davis, for that amount of money, and I recognize it's not huge for a receiver, but I just am not willing to put that level of resources, $12
Considering
million
the resources that we have.
right, into a receiver when that receiver isn't going to end up being our dynamic playmaking wide receiver one, and I don't think Corey Davis is. So I don't love that move. It could work out. It could be the James Bradbury of this year. You never know. It's possible. I think if that does end up happening, we're definitely not going receiver in round one.
Really?
No, I don't. If we sign Corey Davis, I don't think we're going receiver round one.
We gotta go receiver round one, man. No matter what.
Okay, so here's my problem then, right? So you take Corey Davis in free agency. You take a receiver in the draft. All right. So let's pretend for a second. We take friggin' I don't know. We take Jalen Waddle at 11, right? So then your receivers are Corey Davis, Jalen Waddle, Darius Slayton, and Sterling Shepard. Who's sitting the bench?
Let whoever is the least talented sit the bench. It's that simple.
Right, but isn't that a waste of Slayton or a waste of Shepard?
I wouldn't call it a waste of Slayton because Slayton isn't even like that much of a resource in the first place, considering we got him with a 5th rounder.
No, not
He's
a
gonna be.
waste
You
of
know what?
resources. I mean,
that makes Slayton the best.
That's not what I meant.
Outside wide receiver depth in the entire NFL.
What I mean by isn't that a waste of Slayton isn't like I don't mean isn't that a waste of a 5th round pick because I don't believe in that philosophy. I don't believe in the value before. I believe in the value now. And when I look at Slayton, I see a valuable role player, a guy that is
he could still be a
important to
valuable
stretch
role
defense.
player. Okay, so at that point, let's say it was Waddle, Shepard, Davis, Slayton, right?
Yeah.
He's the 4th guy. He's gonna get snaps.
Yeah,
He's gonna get rotated
snaps, but if he's not a starter, doesn't that feel like a waste
in.
of
You
Slayton
said
either?
valuable role player. He's still a valuable role player as the 4th wide receiver.
When I say a valuable role player, I mean a guy every down on the field.
Every down on the field?
Yes.
That's not a role player then. That's a starter.
Well, that's what I when I mean role player, I don't mean in the same way as some other positions. I mean in the offense, a role player in the sense that he is the deep
listen, he
stretch
can
guy.
definitely be a valuable starter. I agree with that. But if we have him as depth, I'm not complaining.
Oh, no, I'm not complaining about having him as depth. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying at that point, right? You're looking at that. Wouldn't you rather? I'm saying I definitely would. I would much rather take that $12 million and go sign Dalvin Tomlinson and then get Jalen Waddle.
I would too. But what we were discussing is if we do it and then still take a receiver round one. That was the discussion.
Right, yeah. I'm saying, okay, so if we are going to say that we're going to take wide, is the given in this situation the receiver in round one or Corey Davis?
Corey Davis, that was the given.
Okay, fair. Then in that situation, I guess I can get on board with it, but I'd still rather take a guy in round 2 or 3.
So who would you take in round one?
In round 1, probably if one of the corners falls, him, or if not, I would look to trade back.
See, that's where we're getting into a scenario where we can't really predict the trade back, right? So
I mean,
it's going to be corner, receiver, or trade back, basically.
I would definitely also consider reaching for an edge at that point. Who
would you reach for?
I would reach for Azeez Ojulari at that pick.
That would definitely be.
I know it's a reach. I don't care. I would definitely reach at that pick for Azeez Ojulari.
Listen,
it wouldn't be my first choice.
You know what that sounded like to me, Nate? That's literally sounding like even if we didn't sign Corey Davis, the thing at 11 is going to be corner, receiver, or trade back. Like either way, it's going to be that.
Yeah, probably. I think at that point, I'd definitely also be looking at the best tackle on the board. If Slater fell, there's no way Sewell's falling. But if Slater fell, I'd definitely be looking at him. I'd probably also be looking. I hate to say this, but if we did sign Corey Davis, then I would look at Kyle Pitts. But at this point, that doesn't seem likely with what Judge is talking about. And yes, Vader, I know there's a thing called depth. I'm well aware, but I just think when you're talking about depth, and you're talking about a guy like Slayton,
I will say Jason Allen has a good point. Shepard's going to get a concussion, and then
stop.
Slayton will get in there.
Don't be doing this to me. So then I think my next question is, what do you think you could get for Sterling Shepard?
Oh, whoa, we talking trading Shepard now? I want to say we could get a second or third for him. Maybe I value him too high, but I think we can.
I would 100% explore that then. If the move is sign Corey Davis, then draft a guy like Jalen Waddle, I would 110% explore a trade for Sterling Shepard to get an extra second round.
I know we joke about this, but this is actually true. We all know Shepard's literally probably a concussion or two. Like, he was considering retirement when he had that really bad concussion. Was it 2019 or 2020? Like, he actually was. So he was considering retirement at one point.
That's very true. I just think I'm a big fan of roster building efficiency. I believe in making moves that.
So you're just not going to respond to this one?
I didn't even see it. CJ, what are you doing to me? I know you're joking, but stop. Stop hurting my soul like that. If we lose Dalvin, what about Barmore? Again, that's what gets to efficiency to me. I love Barmore as a player. Don't get me wrong. Don't even think for a second.
Barmore's a beast. We all know Barmore's a beast.
Right. But I then think we've been drafting these defensive linemen. We have BJ Hill as the replacement. Let's go out and get an outside linebacking pass rusher to replace the production from the defensive line, right? Because if we slide BJ Hill into the edge spot and Dexter Lawrence to nose tackle, then you're probably going to have, give or take, the same run-stopping play up the gut. Maybe a little bit of a downgrade, but not that bad.
Like, honestly, it's not going to be that much of a difference in my opinion.
And then you're looking at getting an outside linebacker across from Zoe, which I think is a move we need to make either this offseason or next offseason. So I
see a couple people in the chat saying if Dalvin Thompson walks, they want to take basically a defense tackle with one of the first 3 picks. My response to that is that it's not needed, yo. We got sufficient talent on the roster that's going to take care of that.
I 100% agree. And I think, like, even a lot of these depth guys, right? Not just BJ Hill. A lot of these depth guys have been consistently, McIntosh definitely, have been consistently coming in and playing good reps in relief when guys like Dalvin Tomlinson need a breather. I want Tomlinson back personally. I think he's incredibly underrated, and I would love to keep our starting defensive line together for next year. But if push comes to shove, I don't think going out and pursuing a replacement for him that isn't in-house is a smart move. I just don't think it's a great move.
And this is exactly what's going to be the dream lineup if Dalvin does walk. It's going to be shift up BJ Hill, shift Dex to nose, and keep Leo where he is. That's what it's going to be.
So let me ask you something. In this situation, obviously, we do need to find someone for the front 7 to help get pressure. We're not going to survive with what we have right now, assuming we lose Dexter Lawrence as the 3 tech because we move him over to nose, because he was a large part of our pass rush on the interior. So at that point, like, we really got to urgently be exploring edge options in this free agency and or draft class. So what are your premium options there?
Real quick, let me get this one. Shout out to Josh Valencia for $2 super chat. He says, "Take my money, LOL. I love your videos. I'll happily take your vids, bro."
It must be nice.
Nah, Josh is a great supporter.
Yeah, he's always
Josh, I still can't figure out why you love my videos. You're a Dolphins fan, but I ain't complaining. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's an absolute cool kid, and you recognize his talent when he sees it.
Exactly. What was your question again? And then I'm gonna pop you out for a second. I'm bringing you back on because it's getting late for Benny. My bad, Benny. I forgot you got to get on.
Sorry, Benny. My bad.
Yeah.
But just real quick, what are your because in this situation we're going to desperately need to attack the edge position, right? What are your best options for that in free agency and or draft? Like, who do you like personally?
So in free agency, I think I've already in the draft. There's really nobody that I like. I think I've made that clear over the past couple of months. There's nobody I like enough, for example, to take with the 11 pick, even if I'm stretching for an Ojulari. There's nobody I like throughout the draft that I could believe could become our number 1 edge rusher that gets to the quarterback consistently. There's guys that I like that I think could be an edge rusher that could get to the quarterback every now and then, but not for what we need. We need somebody that could get there no matter what. I don't see that this draft.
I kind of disagree, actually.
Really? You think there's somebody that could get there no matter what?
No, that's not the part I'm going to disagree with, actually. The part I'm going to disagree with is the fact that I'm not sure that's necessarily exactly what we need.
Okay, you know what? That's a good point. I'll say this then. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Fair. I mean, in that same vein, we want another CB1 across from Bradbury, but we don't necessarily need it. I think when you're looking at this situation, an incredibly suboptimal situation to say the least, I think a good move to make, considering what we've already established in this situation, being BJ Hill sliding in, Dexter Lawrence taking the nose, and Leo staying where he is, I think in that situation, getting a second Lorenzo Carter type player on the outside is pretty much the best we're going to do. And I think that's a serviceable move because I think, and when I say that, I don't mean get another Lorenzo, I mean another Lorenzo Carter caliber player playing like he was before he got injured because he was playing really well. And I think Justin Pennick of Talking Giants, obviously, I mean, I'm not even gonna plug because you all know, but he said something a while ago that really resonated with me, which is that for those of you that aren't baseball fans, you can just plug your ears. This isn't going to matter to you. In baseball, Brian Cashman is the general manager of the Yankees, and very often he gets asked, what are you going to do in free agency to address this? And a lot of times his response is that XYZ players were injured last year. They're coming back. That's how we're addressing this position. They're going to be back. That position is going to be stronger just having them there, right? And I think that's a lot of what we might see here on this team because, I mean, Lorenzo Carter's going to be back. We're not sure what strength he'll be at. O'Shane Ximines is going to be back. He should be at full strength, but we're not sure what to expect from him. I don't see us going out and really overextending to get the kind of guy you're talking about. So I think...
Which is why I've been saying for months, we shouldn't do it. We should just stick with what we got. What you're expressing is what I agree with, is what I've been saying for months, which is like, we could survive with our guys for another year. If you really want to get a legit edge, do it next year. There's no need to do it this year. So I'm going to pop you out for a second. I'm going to bring you back in because I'm pretty sure we haven't really finished that combo. I'm pop you out. Bring in Benny.
Hey,
what up, Benny?
going, man?
How you doing, man? I'm sorry, bro. I forgot that you do got to get on every now and again. What's up, man?
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's getting a little late, but yeah, nothing much right now. I'm just kind of chilling out. It's kind of annoying, like Nate said, because they put the what's it called during the yeah, but they
Thank you, Josh.
The annoying they put the press conference right in the middle of school. But it's there's so much news to it. Like, I mean, I don't know how much you pay attention to the rest of the NFL always, but there was a lot of tags today. And when
there was
on the bus coming from school, I was just scrolling through all this stuff. I had like so many notifications. It was insane. I was just trying to figure out everything that was going on and all. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to make all these videos and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I completely forgot this other, the press conferences today. So I think I'm going to watch that soon. But I did want to say, I'm excited to watch that thing. But I did hear something about what was going on with, like, there's some reporter that was supposed to, like, disrespecting Dave Gettleman. What was it about?
Oh, well, it depends which reporter you're looking at. I mean, in my opinion, the only one that I saw as a little bit disrespect was Kim Jones and the way she kind of came at Dave Gettleman for the offensive line. And the thing is, what she was trying to argue didn't make sense because she said the Giants don't have a young offensive line when 5 of 7 of our offensive linemen are like below the age of 24 or 25 or something like that. I'm like, that's a young offensive line. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But another thing also, by the way, I want to say is if you don't, anybody, if you don't think it was a smart move to what's it called, franchise tag Leonard Williams, you're completely wrong. And the reason why is I understand the people that don't want to pay him, but if he's asking for more, I think we could trade him for a second-round pick. So I think that makes more sense because, we could get a second-round pick instead of a late third-round pick, which is, I think, is a big deal. And even if, say, for some circumstance, for some reason, we don't even get a second-round pick, we get a third-round pick, which is going to be basically most likely higher than any other those compensatory picks because those are late third-round picks. So I think it makes sense to franchise tag him. I'm happy we did. I didn't want to just let him walk in free agency because if he walks in free agency, he's gone.
Yeah, if he walks in free agency, obviously he's gone because he's walking in free agency. The franchise tag, I mean, I'm not against it. The thing that I actually am against, which I've said before, is if we extend him for 20 mil or more. So that means literally anything else I'm fine with. That means if he walks, I'm fine with it because we get the comp pick, and that means we lost nothing in the Leonard Williams trade. We gained 11.5 sacks out of it. If we tag him and he plays on the tag, I'm fine with it because he's playing below 20 mil for me for another year. So yeah, I'm good with that. Even if he somehow, maybe because he's angry, he says, I'm not going to do my best. I'm going to give you like 80% of Leonard Williams instead of 100%. I'm fine with it. And if if we somehow trade him on the franchise tag, I'm even more fine with it because I'm like, yo, that means potentially we get more than just the comp third.
Yeah. Look, I would understand people being mad if we pay him $22 million, but I think for anybody that's mad about the tag, just the tag part of it, I don't think you should be. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so what else is going on right now? Yeah, I was also saw that Reddick didn't get. Yeah, I was actually about to say that Reddick didn't get tagged, which is interesting. But I'm not.
Shout out to Calvin keeping us up on that. The local Cardinals fan. He said Reddick wasn't tagged. Yeah, what do you think about that? Should the Giants make a move? We know KB's in the chat. He's been a proponent of getting Reddick.
Yeah, I think he fits our scheme pretty well. And I if we lose Leonard Williams, I think Reddick makes a lot of sense. But for anybody that thinks we're gonna get Galladay and Leo, there's no way. I don't think. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I've seen people saying that. I don't know how. I don't know
how. Galladay is if maybe we traded Leo, like we ended up deciding to trade him, and, like for one of a second round pick or something, and then getting Galladay. But I don't see this getting Leo and Galladay because right now, do we even have enough money technically for the franchise tag for Leo?
No, we got to cut a couple players. Exactly. I think we're below cap right now.
So people can't be talking an extra at 18 to 20 million at least. You don't know. I don't. And then plus also in that, people got to forget the rookie, stuff. People are forgetting the fact that we still have to have depth. There's a certain amount of players you have on your team. And everybody has a contract at the end of the day. Some people might not have big contracts, but they still add them to it, and we have to have depth.
Yeah, somebody, real quick, shout out. I just got kind of an influx. Shout out to Joseph coming in, Big Pat Sports Saw coming in, Viz Ed coming in, popping in right now. And I'm going to get to Jay Berman's question here with the second cornerback. I will say with the what you're saying, I completely agree with. I even had somebody on Twitter tell me that I'm being too pessimistic with the Giants cap space. We're going to be fine, that there's a plan. And while I agree there's definitely a plan, I was like, how can you tell me I'm being too pessimistic when like you're not taking into account all these other factors?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I want to see them starting to get into. They're going a little slower than I would have liked. I would have hoped by now we would have cleared more space. I'll be honest. Kind of decided on some more things, but they're taking it really slowly, which I guess you could say is good.
Well, I wouldn't say they're taking it slowly. Has any other team made any big free agent signing? Because free agency hasn't happened yet.
No, I don't mean free agency wise. I mean restructure wise and cut wise. We haven't really. I don't know. I don't think we're finished cutting players yet. I don't think.
I would still disagree. I don't think we're taking it slowly because what other team has been?
The Raiders.
The Raiders cut and restructure who? The one team out of 31? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I think a lot of teams are restructuring. If you look at it, the Saints, the Eagles, and a lot of these teams.
If they are restructuring, you got to remember it would be announced.
What?
I said if they are restructuring, it would be announced, like how Toilola was announced.
Yeah, they are being announced. The Saints and Eagles. We look at Rappaport. Sometimes, they're not as big of a deal because they're kind of expected stuff. But
there you go, right? They're expected because these teams are negative 100 million cap.
That's fair, but I would still like to restructure. What's his name? I'd like to restructure Bradbury and at least Bradbury and Martinez.
The reason I don't want to do that is two things. One, they're only going to play their second year here, and that would be already their third time restructuring their contract. The first time was like a month after we signed them or something like that. Before they even played, we restructured it. And then I think we restructured it later on to free up some more cap space. And now you're going back to them again and asking them, two leaders on your defense, two of the best players, if not the two best players on your defense, to restructure once again to help out the team. There's going to come a point where they're just like, yo, let me just earn my money. I think I've earned my money.
Yeah, that is fair. Okay. Yeah, you have a point on that, but still, like people are saying in the chat, like, why is Solder still here? Like,
well, I mean, we don't know why yet, but he's almost 100% going to be gone.
I mean, is he really? Do they really think he's gonna like take that big of a what's it called? A pay cut? Like, that would make sense.
We shouldn't even be thinking about that. The NFLPA won't allow it.
Oh, really? Why?
The NFLPA is there to make sure that their players get the most amount of money on their contract that they can. They're not going to allow you to all of a sudden take away 12 of this man's $16 million.
Yeah, but if Nate Slaughter agrees to it, he agrees to it, right? I mean,
I don't know. You know what? I don't know how much power the PA has, but I would still say they have a way to step in and just basically say no.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't think we're getting him on that. I don't know if we're going to be able to restructure Zeitler, but I've been big. And one reason I don't think we should keep Zeitler, and I know he's a big part of this offensive line, is because, and look, if we cut Zeitler, first of all, it's not going to be, I don't want it to be for defense. Second of all, I think I would want to definitely sign somebody else on that offensive line, another guard. But I think there's other guards out there. If you look at it, there's a lot of guards, older guards especially, that are like Zeitler, that are good but not worth their contract, getting these big contracts anymore, that are getting cut. And a lot of teams want to trade them, but none of them are going to be traded because, well, all of them are, supposed to be gone. So
which guards are getting cut right now?
I'm trying to think of the name. So there's obviously Richie Incognito. There was the Turner dude from the Chargers. There was another guard from the Raiders. I'm trying to think. There was some other ones. The one from the Jaguars. They signed a few years ago. I'm blanking out on his name. I don't know. But there's a bunch of guys actually out there that are pretty.
Let me get this question though, because I've highlighted it for so long. I feel bad. It's already been like 8 minutes since he asked it. Jay, it says, how would you feel about going into the season with Love and Yadam at cornerback 2? How high a priority is an upgrade? How would I feel? I wouldn't feel bad. I'd be like, you know what? I could understand it because they had a legitimate competition going on at the end of the year. How big is the priority? I mean, I would say it's like our third priority, second or third on the list. Well, actually, probably third or fourth if you consider edge rusher. But, I already discussed with Nate why I think that we could survive without that. I wouldn't feel too bad. Like, I could understand it. I'll say that. But I would prefer if there's somebody else that could just come in and take it without need for a competition. What about you, Logan? Benny.
I think, I wouldn't be upset about it. I would like to add maybe one more guy, maybe a little bit more proven. Like, I like, what's his name, who was just cut from the Titans today. He could make sense. Maybe if we, for the right price only, though, because he's older.
Malcolm Butler.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would
but
like Malcolm Butler here.
He has ties to us, I think.
The only tie he has to us is that he played in New England at the same time that Judge coached there and Logan Ryan.
But Logan Ryan was on 2 teams with him.
Is Malcolm Butler really that good to be our cornerback 2 anymore?
Well, that's why I'm saying for a short, if he goes for a small contract, I think he could be somebody that could compete with a guy like maybe like.
Wait. If we're gonna sign him though, why would we sign somebody to compete? Right?
Well,
wouldn't you want to sign somebody that could come in?
Contract. It depends on the contract size. I don't know how much he's going for. So I never said if he's going for the contract that he's going for now, or that he went from last time, which was like $10 million or something. Then obviously I'm not even close to signing it. But if he doesn't get offers, which is definitely a chance because there's so many teams with cap problems, I do think, and there's definitely a chance about that. I wouldn't mind getting a guy like him for cheap to compete.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know exactly how that is. But I wouldn't mind going in with Love and Yadam. I'm not the big. I actually don't mind Yadam as much as some people do. I think at parts he actually played pretty decent
because he improved over the season.
Yeah.
He's a former 3rd round pick. He is a former 3rd round pick.
And he also, don't forget, he also joined the team kind of late. Like, he wasn't there. And with COVID, think about it, he probably didn't get that much time to also learn as much stuff as he probably would have liked. When did he join the team? When did we trade for him? Was it preseason? Like, when preseason went normally?
It was either in the very beginning of the season or right before the season started, but in that early part.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he took a break from starting, and then we had a guy whose name I already forgot starting, and then he came back. And since he came back, I want to say around the Buccaneers area type time, he improved steadily.
Yeah, he was improving a lot. But then they just stopped playing him at the end of the season.
I can't remember if it was an injury or something else, and then
he got injured, and then he came back the past few games, the last few games, I think, but they didn't play him, really.
But yeah.
Love more than him. But there was one game where he was like our number 1 corner. I think it was the game where Bradbury was out.
Bradbury was out for like one game. I think that was the Browns. I want to say.
And that was that one game where he was the number 1 corner, I think. And then I think after that was kind of the last game. I feel like.
Shout out to Sean. I haven't seen him here in a long time. Sean's a really old subscriber for mine, man. Thank you for continuing support. He's one of the OG subscribers, man. Thank you, bro. But yeah, Benny, let me get your last thought. Do you have to go soon? Because you were saying it's getting late.
Yeah, this will probably be good. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Oh, by the way, I'm also super close to 100 subscribers, so I'm really excited.
How many away?
I'm like 2 or 3 away.
We have 2 or 3 people go over there and get this man to 100 subscribers. Let's go.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, you've helped me a lot with the getting to 100 subscribers, so I can't wait for that.
No problem, Benny.
I'm definitely gonna see if I can do like some type of live stream. Maybe I'll have you on that for that or something like that.
I'm down. You just gotta let me know in good amount of time before.
Yeah. But yeah, all right. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Have a good one, bro. Assorted Fruits. I'm pretty sure you already got the link, bro. You're in here. It's Nate. I'm gonna pop Nate back on. Then Alex from Big Blue in the Bronx. Then you. Then Big Pat Sports Talk. Then I'm assuming that's Jaden because he says Barkley with 3 goat emojis. So I'm gonna assume that's Jaden because he's the champ and only the champ would speak such truth like that. But yo, what's up, Nate? Where were we? Or do you want to start off with something else?
I do want to start off with something else, which is everybody in the chat go sub up to Benny. I mean, why do?
Where's he at right now? He should have hit 100 now. He should have hit 100.
People, I'm ashamed of us that I have to be saying this right now. I'm honestly.
He's at
ashamed.
99. He's 1 away.
Who wants to be the legend in the chat right now? Frankie G says he just did. Frankie G.
It still says 99 on mine. I don't know why, but if he is, then you're the 100. You're the 100 sub. For some reason, it still says 99 on my screen.
Well done, Frankie. You're an absolute legend. Anyway, though, I do not remember where we left off. All right.
It was the edge, and basically I was saying, yeah, that's what I've been saying for months. The Justin Pennick thing that you brought up, and also what you're bringing up. That's why I'm so comfortable just not doing anything about the edge. Because we got guys that are serviceable. That's been my key word. Lorenzo Carter and Kyler Fackrell are going to be serviceable, in my opinion. They're going to be just good enough for us. And if we really still need that edge, if people, or if the coaching staff, honestly, is what it comes down to. If the coaching staff is not satisfied with the production they're getting from a serviceable pass rushing core, then next year would be a way better time to go out and get a legit edge rusher.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else. I think one of the things people fail to understand is that when you talk about scheming up pressure, that's not some random out there idea. It's a very real thing that exists in football, and it's sort of viewed, I think, as compensation for not having good edge rushers. I don't really think that's what it is. I think it's how defensive coordinators give their edge rushers, those front 7 guys, the best chance to succeed, putting them in the best position to get quarterback knockdowns, etc. So with that being said, I think looking at what our situation is, I think it's going to be a lot easier to have serviceable players produce like good players if we get that CB2. And it's gonna open up a whole lot more pressure.
Bro, that's what I've been saying. Nate, you've been on the lives for so long. You telling me you haven't heard what I've been saying?
I'm sure you've said it while I've been here, but listen, man, we talk about a lot of stuff.
Nah. What Nate is telling me is that I speak and he doesn't listen. That's what he's telling me right now.
Stop it,
bro. I've been saying this for months. I've been saying if we get that corner 2, and even if we get the linebacker 2, our edge is gonna be fine, bro. It's gonna be completely fine.
I think just talking about that second corner and the possibilities there, I think that's where the nuance of CB1, CB2 starts to come into play. Because even if you get a really solid CB2, that still opens
Sabrina.
up. Don't turn into pest. I think even if you do get just that solid CB2 and you don't go out and get another James Bradbury, even then, that still opens up so many more opportunities for blitz and aggressiveness and Patrick Graham opening up this defense like he wants to. I think where it really gets interesting is if we do end up going with the anonymous source and signing a guy like Corey Davis and then going defense in the first round, getting a guy like Caleb Farley if he's there, which is very possible. And at that point, then this defense is going to get very interesting. Then I will be excited to see what Pat Graham puts on the field next year.
I agree with you completely.
Bobby, don't try and poison this dude's mind. He's a young gun. He's coming up. He's learning. Don't poison him like this, Bobby. Don't be doing that. That's unacceptable.
I got the high with 6 eyes this time. Did I count that right? 6 eyes. Anyway,
come on.
no, I completely agree with you. And this is a related question that Sean's bringing up. Who are realistically the options?
Sure.
You want me to tell you, Sean? I'm sorry. People are going to hate this answer because it's probably going to come up every single time tonight. I won't know until we get into positive cap space, bro.
Okay,
I
good.
won't know until we make some space. But
So-
if I had to guess, the guys that won't be realistic would be guys like Carl Lawson, guys that are going for their second contract,
Sure.
that second contract, big contract that legitimately are almost worth that second contract. So that eliminates guys like Barrett. It eliminates guys like Carl Lawson. It eliminates guys like, actually, that might be it. Or am I not thinking of guys? And maybe I undervalue Hassan Reddick. I don't know if KB's still in the
Your
chat.
point
Maybe
is
I
well
undervalue him. Yeah.
Your point is well made. And I got to be honest, when you said you guys aren't going to like this answer, I was quite nervous that you were about to say he who shall not be named at 11. I was going to be really, really upset with you right now.
Nah, I wasn't even thinking draft, to be honest.
Good. We're not even going to say his name. Like, if someone asks you, hey, who's an edge rusher you'd take in the 4th round, his name does not get spoken, ever. That's not a thing we have to say in the Giants YouTube community. We don't talk about him. But yeah, in terms of realistic options, I think guys in free agency are limited. I think even if we were in a position with
I want to say real quick, I didn't forget about Bud Dupree because if people are forgetting about him in the sense that the media hasn't talked about him and I haven't really seen any teams rumored to him, it's just that I don't see him realistically for us because guess what? He is somebody that's going to get like 20 mil plus.
No, he's not going to get 20 mil plus.
You don't think so? He's worth it.
Coming off an ACL tear mid-season, no.
How much is he going to get?
He's going to get a 1-year prove-it deal.
Well, what is that prove-it deal going to be valued at?
15-ish.
Ooh, I don't know. That's low, man. Even for
coming off a
deal.
late season ACL tear, no, he's not going to get paid big.
I'm going to need to pull up what if there's ever been a similar situation like that. But Bud Dupree, the reason I don't see him is because he's Bud Dupree. Like, I don't know.
Well, I think with that being said, just looking at any free agent options in general, even if we were in a position cap-wise to go out and sign any of those guys, outside of, say, a Bud Dupree, I don't think any of them really fit what we're looking for. Look at a guy like Jesus, you just said his name, Bengals, Carl Lawson. Look at a guy like Carl Lawson. He's a hand-in-the-dirt lineman, and a lot of people go back to, when he was coming out in college, they viewed him as an outside linebacker prospect. Yeah, and then he played like 3-4 years in the league as a down defensive lineman. That means something. That's important. Then you look at a guy like Hassan Reddick.
I will say to play devil's advocate on the Carl Lawson thing, the same argument can be made for, and I know he's a completely different level, and his name's something like Khalil Mack, because he can switch fluidly between outside linebacker and defensive end.
And the key thing you just said is that he's a completely different level.
Mm-hmm.
It's not comparable there. But then looking at a guy like Hassan Reddick, who's probably one of the better fits on the market, I'm just not confident in his ability to produce over the course of a season. He had one really good game against us, where our offensive line struggled mightily because he was not the only Cardinal in that game that had a huge game. He was not the only one. That was happening widespread, and it should be said that wasn't even just the offensive line. Daniel Jones could not move.
Stared him in the face.
Right. So I'm looking at, look at those stats, and people are like, look at the progression of the numbers. He's set for a breakout year. Is he, though? I look at the on-field product, and I think he's a solid player, but at the price tag people are talking about him commanding compared to our salary cap number, I just don't like it. So then we've eliminated free agency from this discussion, right? Now we talk about the second element of this, which is the draft. And we've all said for so long that this edge draft is terrible. And in fairness, that's because it is. So looking at why this edge draft is terrible, it's not that there's players that can't be good. Because there are players in this draft that have really, really huge potential, like a Jalen Phillips. Because guys like that could come into the league and be absolute monsters. The difference is between this and another year is that there is no guy that will come into the league and be an absolute monster.
Not just another year, the past 6-7 years.
Yeah. There's a huge difference in an NFL draft between could and will. And there is no will in this draft in the edge class. There's just no one there that we are confident, beyond all shadow of a doubt, will come in and be
There's
that
no
guy.
Bosa brother. There's no Young. There's no
Myles Garrett.
There's no Garrett. There's no guy at the Broncos whose name I'm forgetting for some reason. Chubb. Like, there's none of those guys. There's no Mac. There's no Donald. Like, there's none of them.
Yeah. So with that being said, then you start to look at the guys that we were talking about before, guys that are not superstars, but Lorenzo Carter-ish in that value tier. Then we can start to have a conversation, because then you're talking about some guys that maybe aren't getting talked about enough. Maybe a guy like Azeez Ojulari, if we were able to swing a trade back to a quarterback-needy team.
I will say, that would be kind of funny to me if we do somehow get Ojulari. We're going to have 2 Georgia Bulldogs on the edges.
That's true. With that being said, a guy like him could be really good value at, say, 15. Just putting that one out there. A guy like Hamilcar Rashed in the 3rd round. Really solid pass rusher. There's other guys in here scattered amongst the terrible prospects and the terrible fits. The problem is none of them are in any way guarantees, and none of them are really good options. When you have to look this hard for a player you like, and you have to look this hard to find the ones that are going to fit, maybe it's time to just admit defeat and say next year we'll look at this again.
Thank you.
Because it's just what it is at this point. There's just no good options.
You've articulated it better than I could have, but that's what I've been preaching for months. I got a couple of rapid fire ones from the chat here to get to you because I want to get these questions moving. Then I'm going to pop Alex in. So this is the first rapid fire one. What do we do at 11? Your options are cornerbacks, Parsons, or Waddle. Who do you take? I want Parsons, wondering what you think. So I'm going to give you 2 scenarios for rapid fire. One of them is that the allegations are false. One of them is that the allegations are true.
Either way, not taking Parsons.
So who you going?
Both CBs are available?
He said one of your CBs.
Waddle.
Waddle? Okay, then. What's the next rapid fire one? Because I saw another one up here. Farley
was a consideration, though.
Bud Dupree is overrated. He's not that good.
A bit. Not super overrated. I think he's got solid skill set. He may not be TJ Watt, but he doesn't really have to be. We're not looking for him to come out here and be that for us. We're looking for him to do what he does best, which is play an outside linebacker role, be solid against the run, have some good moves on the edge. I think he'd be able to do that.
Next one. How do you feel about adding Van Noy if he signed a 1-2-year deal?
I love Van Noy to us. I think that is a slam dunk fit. Maybe not a slam dunk salary cap move yet, but we can make moves. There's plenty of guys we can cut and make room for a small contract like he'd probably get. I love the fit there. I think that secures our second linebacker spot.
Bro, tell me not, bro. Because he's going to be rotating. Him rotating with Crowder is going to be... We don't need anybody else at that second linebacker spot. So I agree with you.
I think that's an excellent fit. He's got the ties. He's got the relationships to the coaching staff. He's got incredible versatility. He can rush the passer a little bit up the gut. He can play coverage. He can play the run. I love that fit for us.
And the last one, what's up, my man? Love this duo, even though I could never catch the streams. Thank you for tuning in when you can. What you think about older veterans in free agency, like offensive guard Incognito or cornerback Butler? A lot of them want contracts.
Don't believe in it. I personally, just as a general rule, unless there is a perfect situation arising, I don't believe in signing old free agents. Just philosophically, I don't think it makes sense, especially when you're building for the future like we are. There's a few
That's what the
situations.
Eagles did, right?
I'm sorry?
They signed older free agents. That's what they did, right?
Who did?
Eagles for their Super.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So I think when you're in a position like we're in, where you are very, 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 very clearly promoting a young core and building for the future, signing older free agents on the wrong side of 30 is just it's not good business. I don't think it makes sense. I've never been a fan of it, and I do not support that business model.
And well, that was it. Nate, thank you for calling in, man.
Thanks for having me. It's always a blast.
No problem, bro. When are you going to be back up on your channel doing stuff?
As soon as I can get myself to, pretty much.
Well, guys, go over there, sub up Nate, man. Have a good one, bro.
Adios.
Alex from Big Blue in the Bronx. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm mixed feelings about today. First off, I want to start with this. Kim Jones. If there's any Yankee fans in the chat, before Kim Jones was a hot shot NFL reporter, she was the dugout / sideline, whatever you want to call it for baseball terms.
I know she worked with Yes before, right? Yes Network?
She for any Yankee fans out there, that's basically she was before Meredith Marakovitz. You have lost as in Kimberly Jones, you have lost my respect to possibly the greatest extent ever. And obviously, I'm getting the feedback now that she's mad about the OBJ trade, whatever. And
even then, bro, unprofessional is unprofessional.
You know what? What I say about that is, listen, I do my own complaining when it comes to the media and the beat media and asking about these questions. Nate, yes, she was there before Meredith Morakovitz. I think she was there till like 2011, I want to say. I remember watching those old Yankee games. But real quickly, I do want to shout out Benny. Obviously, got over 100 subscribers, and Joseph Balby as well, both supporters of my channel. And Benny was actually on my stream last night with the Entertainer and obviously our new podcast every Monday. But as I'm going to my point, I do my own complaining when it comes to the beat media not having a personality or not asking the right questions because they don't ask the right questions. Mm-hmm. When people was saying, ask questions about Jason Garrett, the beat media didn't listen. They didn't listen. And what happened was, they asked their own stupid questions and we got nothing answered. I mean, Joe Judge gives you the basic,
at the beginning.
Statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll give you the vanilla statements. They won't actually reveal anything, but it's nice to actually ask those questions. And, just being snotty and just acting like that, Kimberly Jones, you're not a fan. And how many times I've been, going over this on my podcast, even when, people were starting to make fun of Judge because he was doing, not calling Daniel Jones by his name, not calling Saquon Barkley by his name. Do you pay to get season tickets? Do you pay to go in the stands? No, you don't. You have a press pass. That's how you get into the stadium and you get, that stuff. So you just lost a lot of my respect. And yes, she was wrong with what she said because obviously you'll need some veterans on the team no matter what, even if it's Nate Solder, if it's, Kevin Zeitler, even if it's a guy like Gabe Jackson or Cameron Fleming. You need the swing tackle, swing guard.
What a part there.
You were not just going to sit here and play all rookies. That would be sincerely wrong for this organization or any organization.
I want to know where she took her math class at, bro. 5 out of 7 isn't a young line.
She lives under a rock, obviously. I mean, that's just the kind of obvious part. And yeah, even if we didn't have Hernandez or something, we drafted 3 offensive linemen last year. I mean, how do you not just pick that up in your head? But extending it to a little bit more of a point, and then I'll obviously get into something. I'll let you kind of, back up your thoughts and whatever, is that, I'm done with kind of not calling people out on Twitter anymore. I'm going to do it right now. There's this one guy, and I obviously pointed out in the Discord chat, there's this guy by the name of Big Blue United on Twitter. Some guys know him, some guys don't. And, he's obviously one of the agitators when it comes to Gettleman. And I had an argument with him today because he's like, because he said, Giants fans shouldn't be laughing at Cowboy fans for, the Dak Prescott thing when Leonard Williams thing happened. I'm like, first of all, 2 different positions. Second of all, when did being a fan actually become immoral? I mean, listen, like the other guy was calling out Benny in the chat as a joke. Philly fans, what did they do at the end of the season when there was nothing on the line? They rooted for their tank and they were passionate about their team. They didn't sit there going on Twitter fighting with everybody. No, because at least that I know, Giants Twitter is worse than any other football Twitter. They went out there. They laughed at the Giants. They had a fun time laughing at the Giants because they basically eliminated them from the playoff contention, no matter whose fault it was. So, that pissed me off. And obviously there's a lot of people on there who just stick to being statistically, there and stuff and not actually being a fan. And one more thing, I don't mean to take up the whole show and everything, but he did say this.
Fine. Go ahead, bro.
He did say this. If the Giants can re-sign Dalvin Tomlinson, Corey Davis, Kyle Van Noy, and Malcolm Butler in free agency, the Giants would have a very solid start to the offseason. Excuse me, is this Madden? Are we playing EA2? Are we playing 2K NFL from like 2000? Excuse me? No, we don't have that much money. So talk about, me being realistic. Talk about, you're not being realistic. So
this is a good point right here that Sabrina's bringing up. Everybody also kind of agreed. The media was just kind of at Dave Gettleman's throat today, but this is a good one on just what they did during the season when they picked apart Colt McCoy for no reason before the game when he started. The media, they're not fans. They're not on our side. The beat media.
As I said, how many times, people still go out there, ask their questions, they'll no matter what. People like, I'm not going to make fun of him because obviously he had a kid. Congratulations, Dan Duggan. But those guys, honestly, I'm sorry. They don't care. They don't care what we think. We're fans. We give them the clicks. We give them the money. And then when it comes question time, though it is a small subject that we recovered earlier today, Why didn't anybody ask about Leonard Williams complaining or at least liking the comment about him, just not being here next year? Though that was rebutted on his story because when he was officially franchise tagged, he was celebrating on his story. So that's at least the first half of what I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, do you want me to respond or are you going to give your
Sure.
second half? So on the thing with Kim Jones, I completely agree, and I don't want it to seem like this is a hate on Kim Jones, like part of your stream, like anything like that. I'll say this, not only because I already talked about how the information she was arguing was just completely wrong, not factual at all, just objectively speaking was wrong what she was saying. 5 guys are below the age of 24, 25 out of the 7 guys you have on your roster. By definition, that is a young offensive line. Your franchise tackle just turned 21. Your other guy who you hope to turn into the franchise tackle is the same age. Your center is 24. Your guard is around that 24 age. Like, you have a young line. So factually, it was wrong. The thing I had a problem with, to be honest with you, is just the unprofessionalism and the disrespect she had when speaking towards Gelman, where she wouldn't let him finish, and then she came back, interrupted him, kind of with the heightened tone and volume in the voice. She's like, hey, yo, what got me? I laughed a little bit because this is a New York thing. Like, we say respectfully a lot, and then say something that's really not respectful. She did that. I'm like, that's how I know she was being respectful. She's like, respectfully, Dave, your line is old. I'm like, how are you a professional reporter and doing that, yo?
See, she keeps up that attitude, she's going to get her press pass revoked. And you know what? At this point in the game, I'm not necessarily against that. But then again, we'll see what happens. I'm going to give people second chances. And with the Leonard Williams thing, what was a win situation for the Giants there other than franchise tagging him? Because obviously Big Blue United, again, I was going back and forth with him on Twitter. And I won that argument because he didn't respond to anything I said. Because it was very different, the Dak Prescott situation and how many times they refused to extend him, and now they do it. Going back to the Leonard Williams thing, didn't from the start last year, and he was blaming Gettleman because he didn't sign him to a long-term extension last year. Number one, we would have never gotten Blake Martinez or James Bradbury. B, I'm pretty sure he wanted the same amount of money last year. So what's
Dak?
the difference? Leonard Williams.
Oh, yeah, he wanted the same amount. For me, and I've already said it, tagging him is a win because as long as he's playing here under 20 mil, I'm happy. Now, if he plays exactly at 20 mil, you're not going to find me complaining. But the whole thing is I don't want to overpay him. And I feel like if we pay him, say, a $23 million deal, I feel like that's overpaying him. So tagging him is a win. Letting him walk is a win for me because we're getting something back anyway. Trading him is a win. I mean, in my honest opinion, and this might be unpopular, I don't think there's a wrong decision that we can make with Leonard Williams. What do you think about that?
I think wrong in the fans' eyes, but in some way possible, wherever you do it, you tag and trade him, you sign him to extension, you just tag him for the year, something like that. It's going to be a win for the Giants organization in some part.
Exactly.
Obviously, it goes to a little bit of the mock offseason I did with a guy on an Instagram page and another Giants content creator. You mind if I get into that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So first, obviously, the cuts. And this is something we did last week. The cuts: Golden Tate, David Mayo, Isaac Yadam, Cody Core, Levine Toilolo, Zeitler, restructure, Solder, and free up $8 million in cap. I don't know if the NFLPA would allow that, as you said. Riley Dixon, cut him as well. And then the cap space around that time would probably be roughly about $38 million. This is obviously from Spot Track. Resigning period: tag and trade Leonard Williams, and this is unreal kind of. Tag and trade Williams to the Jacksonville Jaguars for the 33rd pick. Resign Tomlinson.
That's a high pick.
Yeah. Resign Tomlinson to a 4-year, $45.8 million deal, annually $11.4 a year. Resign Casey Kreiter, then go to the next one. I didn't want to do that. Free agency predictions around that time, we would have about $25.3 million in cap space. We said sign Corey Davis to a 3-year, $30.9 million contract. In terms of backloading it, year 1, $6 million, year 2, $10 million, year 3, $14 million, which I think is honestly fair. Michael Davis, signed him to a 2-year, $10 million contract. Year 1, $4 million, year 2, $6 million. Signed Joe Haig to a 1-year, $3 million deal, and signed Dolphins punter Matt Hack to a 1-year, $2.7 million deal. Obviously, with all that, you'll have about $9.3 million in cap space. At the end of that, obviously, is the draft. 11th overall In that case, and this is done by Draft Network, at least the mock draft, so it's going to be different from the PFN nightmare. Kwity Paye with the 11th overall pick. With the 42nd pick, this is definitely a reach. Well, not a reach, but
where's the 33rd pick that you got for Leo?
That one, I think we actually selected Chaz Surratt.
That high? 33?
Yeah. I want to say 30. It was either I think it was Chaz Surratt, actually. Yeah.
At 33, though, you could have got him at 42.
At 42 in that part of the draft, because actually what happened was, and I didn't have it on the paper, is that we forgot we had the 33rd pick, and we're like, oh crap. So we looked back in the draft and who was taken after 33, or at least, from 33 on, and Chaz Surratt was still there. So I'm like, okay, why don't we take him? With the 42nd pick, obviously done with Draft Network, so it's going to be different. Wyatt Davis. With the 76th overall selection, we selected Dayo Odenigbo out of Vanderbilt. I can't pronounce his name. With 116th overall, we selected Michael
What position
Carter.
is Odeyo?
He's an edge.
Okay.
116th overall, we selected Michael Carter. 198, Jalen Darden. And 202nd overall, we selected cornerback Cameron Bynum.
Where's the playmakers?
The playmakers. Well, obviously, Corey Davis and free agency. If you want to make running back, sort of that, and Jalen Darden as well.
Okay. Receiving playmakers. Did you not take any in the draft?
Jalen Darden later on.
You had that. I thought you were going to use that 33rd pick and probably get, one of those guys like Marshall Moore. Maybe
I want to say
else.
That Freiermuth was still there.
He probably would have been still there. Yeah, in real life, he'd be there.
In real life, I would probably not pass up on him. But I know the other guy that I was doing this with, he's a big UNC fan. He said, I would love to take Surratt. And I said, you know what? Let's take Surratt.
I'll tell you this. It's not bad, but the draft is where you kind of lose me because Corey Davis is really the only playmaker you got in the offseason. That late round guy is going to be a depth piece. But I'd probably say Wyatt Davis at 42. I don't want to give that up. It's
unrealistic. I know.
I don't want to give that up. So maybe I take Surratt at 42 and then use that 33 pick for a receiver or something.
Also, I mean, obviously, if you picked a receiver in the first round, you could probably end up taking Wyatt Davis at 33, which is more realistic, and then take Surratt at 42. So
that too. So, definitely. I mean, but the free agency part I like a lot because it was very detailed. And especially when you got down to the punter, who's somebody people haven't really considered. Riley Dixon is really good. He's really good, but he's a punter. He could be replaced. Got down to re-signing one of my favorite guys on the special teams, Casey Crater, the long snapper. We have one of the best long snappers in the league, but people don't look at that because of special teams. We got to re-sign him. I love that dude. He's a big part of the reason that Graham Gano had a Grand Slam year. But yeah.
For the people, and obviously you were having this discussion earlier, I think it was with Nate, about the defensive tackle position related to Lawrence, and obviously if we let Tomlinson go, obviously trust in your depth, BJ Hill and RJ McIntosh. And again, Dave Gettleman, as all the people were in the chat, and this is kind of ironic, how many times have Giants fans, including myself, said in the past when it came to 2020 draft, don't select a defensive tackle? And then now we get to this draft and a lot of Giant fans, and
tell me, I'm so surprised by that. They're like, yo, we got to take a D tackle with one of our first 3 picks. I'm like, yo, we got amazing depth at D tackle. We don't need it.
I definitely agree with that. And then, obviously, as I said, use your depth, McIntosh, but I wouldn't honestly rule out them drafting a DT. I don't know if Judge, because
do you say that just because it's Gettleman or because of something else?
It could be because of that. And also last year, I mean, obviously you had somewhat consistent starters on the defense, but RJ McIntosh, he was all 16 games, he was ruled inactive. So that kind of had to tell you something a little bit. Not even one game. I mean, there were a couple, maybe, I don't know any game that any of the defensive linemen were out, but, just extra depth. But anyway, but going back to the other thing, I would definitely not stick with Yiadom and Love going into the year. I like Love. I know a lot of people seem to underrate him because, of the big plays he's given up. But at the same time, I feel that he's short. He's a short corner. I feel like we need a tall corner. And I feel like we need a tackling corner because in the game against the Ravens, the Giants struggled heavily against the run. And guys like Darnay Holmes, who, to be honest, is a weak tackler. And guys like Isaac Yiadom were missing tackles in the backfield, and that's why Lamar Jackson and all those other running backs were getting past us. And I'm not going to, sit here and not blame it on the linebacking core, but obviously, where there's error, you have to blame the certain people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, HSM just dipped out, I think. He said, okay, that's cool. I just let him know there's a couple people ahead of him, and then he dipped out of the room. But yeah, no, I agree with you on the boundary corner thing. We need a bigger guy, in my opinion. I wouldn't put it past somebody on the roster to develop into that. I'm still completely for. I'd rather have somebody that could just come in, slide right in, be the number 2 corner. So who was the guy you said again that you're looking at? His name?
What was I gonna say? From the draft to free agency?
From the draft.
From the draft, my favorite is, well, at least the non-first round corner, non-11th pick corner, I should say, is Fitu Melifonwu is personally my favorite. I remember watching the Senior Bowl and actually just like looking for the first part of at least one of the practices. I'm sorry, that's my Alexa. I apologize for that. Press the alarm, I think. I'm actually getting a call. But anyway, Alexa declined.
Is your brother your twin, by the way?
Yes.
I didn't realize that until I actually looked at the podcast. I'm like, not only do you guys sound the same, but you look exactly the same.
Yeah, and then people were busting my balls because he sleeps in the top bunk. But anyway, about Melifonwu, the first, at least part of the practice, Luca texted why we declined. But anyway, I'm sorry for these so many interruptions. But one of the reasons, at least when I was looking at the Senior Bowl, at least one of the part of the practices, the defensive backs were standing out and being very physical. At least one of the practices, or at least part of the Senior Bowl I saw. I know Cameron Bynum was one of them. Melifonwu was one of them. And as I said, going back to my other tweet, I would love Melifonwu if he fell to the second round. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to do that because I think a team like the Chiefs will pick him up.
Mm-hmm. No, I think I don't know. Maybe the team does, take him in the late first, but he's definitely a second round guy. I can see him realistically being there at 42 for us. It just depends where the Giants are going at 42. Do they go guard? Like, do they go a guy like Brown or Davis at 42? Or are they saying, you know what, we're gonna actually solidify this line and get the starting right guard? Do they go there? Because there's, in my opinion, if you go wide receiver first round, there's 3 ways to go in the second: corner, linebacker, and guard. So it's gonna come down to what they decide on. You know what I'm saying?
I honestly, and I listen, I like Deontay Brown as a run blocker. I don't trust him as a pass blocker. And no disrespect to Shane Lemieux, we don't need another just run blocker on this roster to develop all the way into a pass blocker. We need to keep Daniel Jones upright. And I think Wyatt Davis is possibly the only, or at least one of the few guards in this draft that you plug in right away and he's going to be good.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to Joseph. He says, Big Blue and Hub, you guys are great, bro. Thank you. You got anything else you want to talk about in regards to the Giants? Edge, just anything? Tag? What's up?
I think I said all my points. That's pretty much it, though. Guys, obviously, thank you, Hub, for having me on. Subscribe to my channel. Obviously, besides the weekly podcast, twice a week podcast I used to do, and I still do it. Mondays is the Boys in the Big Apple podcast. I had Entertainer on and Cop Pizzle on. A lot of fun. It's not just football, it's baseball, it's all the sports topics. Hub, I'll obviously get you on there at some point, but we're looking at a lot of guests just to make it fun. And also, we're going to come up with our own stuff so we don't branch off anybody's audience and stuff like that. And also, one of the guys, the guy Sean suggested Chiseled Adonis. So we'll see if we get that closer to football season.
I love Chiseled Adonis. I've been saying it I got to get him back on. For those of you that don't know, it's buried in the Just Chillin playlist. But sometime in August last year, I had Chiseled on. If you guys don't know who Chiseled is, first of all, just go check him out. Great dude. And he's also right in NYC. I know the area he lives in just because like the dude talks about that place so much. I have friends that live there, and my school was like a train stop away from there. Like I know that area. Chiseled is like New York bred and born, but he's also just the funniest football like comedian out there, man. You guys got to check him out. And he's gonna be great on any podcast that he goes on to as a guest.
He does commentary. He does rants on why the Bronx is so bad. This is some of my favorite. I mean, before the pandemic, I don't know how long he slowed this up for. Obviously, the sliding into the DMs and also the chiseling.
Yo, he hasn't done sliding into the DMs in like a year.
It's tough to do it with just virtual. Like, how do you a pickup line? Oh, I'm gonna Zoom date you, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, people being weary about this pandemic, not to blame them, but obviously, Chizodonis has to come up with some new pickup lines, and I give him that full thing because he's better comedian than I will ever be.
He's actually a professional stand-up as well. I mean, same thing with before the pandemic. Me and my friends were planning to go see him in person, but then obviously the pandemic hit, so that was that.
The place he first did his first show actually shut down.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he do his first show at Laugh House or something, or Comedy House or something?
I want to say I've heard that name before, and I want to say that it is it, but I'm not going to toss around something I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that, or at least something similar to that name, is what closed down.
Wow. But, I mean, hey, yo, Chisel's making it on YouTube, bro. Love to see it. But, yeah, thank you for coming on, Alex. Hope to pop on the new Boys in Big Blue soon. I was actually on the regular podcast last Tuesday, guys, so go ahead check that out as well. Once again, thank you, man.
Thank you for letting me on, Kush.
No problem. Next up, we got Assorted Fruits 42, the Giants and Seahawks fan. How you doing, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I saw you were saying earlier, don't get Butler as a guy that's in Seattle.
Yes, just nightmares.
Yeah. So what's up, man? What are you trying to
talk? Nothing in particular. Just kind of picking up on what other people have said. We're talking about defensive line, mainly edge. But with this Leonard Williams, I'm looking at it like I'm happy we franchise tagged him, so if we want to trade him, we could. But I'm looking at Carlos Dunlap, honestly.
Carlos Dunlap?
Yeah.
What, as a replacement for Leonard Williams?
Possibly, because he was just released. He's going to be entering free agency.
And I know you're looking at him because he was just with the Seahawks.
Oh, not even that. He walked into Seattle in the middle of season and completely changed that defense, almost single-handedly.
He's 32 years old, though. Isn't the age something that you stay away from? We already discussed earlier as well that we're looking for young guys.
Not at all. Like I said, he literally walked into Seattle and changed that entire defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the Seahawks defense halfway through the year, so just past the Giants game. I'd say a couple games before, maybe. Sorry about that for cursing. But just a couple games before, when Seattle added him, he immediately changed the entire defense for the Seahawks.
What about the defense change? Were they more physical? Was it just getting to the quarterback more? What exactly?
Getting to the quarterback more for some reason than the pass rush, just because Seattle had no pass rush. Basically, that was the biggest issue.
And you said he went there halfway through the season or something?
About halfway through the season, yes. They signed him.
So he had 1 sack with Cincinnati and 5 with Seattle.
Yes, and with only playing 6 games, and he's a nose guard, or he's not a nose guard, but he's a nose tackle.
I'll say this. I think Leo is better than Carlos Dunlap.
I severely disagree.
I think Leo is better not just in pass rushing because he has a lot more, not just sacks, obviously, but we're talking pressures. We're talking quarterback hits. He's also definitely better in the run game. That's what Leo was basically built his career on, being one of the elite run stuffers in the NFL. I don't think Dunlap is better than him.
Yeah, that's where we disagree, but I'm
fine if you disagree, but you got to give me your reasoning to why you say Dunlap is better.
Well, I think we could probably get him for cheaper, first and foremost, and I think
we could what?
We could get him for cheaper. I think because
well, we're not discussing contract. We're just discussing who's the better player.
Oh, who's the better player? It's just one of those feeling kind of things. Because maybe not on paper completely, but seeing how he played in Seattle and how well respected he was in Cincinnati, and not even just respected, how well he played the couple years in Cincinnati, I just think he's a better player. Really, it might not show.
I'll say this once again, right? I'm not talking just sacks. Leo had 30 quarterback hits right this year, and then last year he led the NFL in quarterback hits with half a sack. Dunlap on the season has 18 quarterback hits, so that's almost half of that. If we look at pressures, for example, I'm gonna have to go into deeper stats here to find the pressure.
Yeah. Take your time. Take your time.
So pressures this year, Leo had 42, which once again I think was probably in the top like 20 of the NFL.
I'm pretty sure it was more than top 20, but
yeah. And then Dunlap on the year had 26. So once again, you're kind of seeing like around a half the amount and whatnot. And then for some reason, Pro Football Reference does not track run stuffing. I mean, it's kind of hard to track run stuffing ability, isn't it? But I know Leo's been one of the best at stuffing the run his entire career in the NFL. I'll say this: Dunlap is 100% going to be cheaper. You know, if say the Giants rescind the franchise tag and whatnot. But I think as a player, Leo's better.
Yeah.
And can I say the same thing? You bring up a great point where it's not just on the stat sheet; it's on the field. You see Carlos Dunlap, what he's done for that Seahawks line and the Seahawks defense. I could say the same thing for Leo, though, right? We saw what he did for the defense this year. That's why a lot of people want to extend him because of the effect he has on the defense. And Sabrina, how in the world did you find that stream so quickly? Jesus, that's like from a year ago. But
probably had it on hotkey or something.
That was a long time ago. But yeah, you're amazing, Sabrina, by the way, for that. But yeah, so yeah, I could see that. But yeah, what do you say to me saying I could say the same thing for Leo, that he had a great effect on the defense, just like Dunlap had a great effect on the Seahawks defense?
I think Leo, honestly, from what I could see from like media and stuff like that, obviously I'm not an actual media source, but from what I could see, it seemed like Dalvin Tomlinson was more like not the leader, but like the most respected, I guess, out of them, because he was voted for Walter Payton Man of the Year for the Giants. I see him more being that type of player. Or I see more Tomlinson being that type of player. Obviously, Leo...
I mean, I won't disagree with that, but that's leading away from what we're doing on the field. Now we're talking off the field.
Yeah, we were talking about how players could, like, change the defense, and I honestly think that Dunlap could do more, because we saw, I'm guessing... I guess I just relate that stuff with off-field, I guess, kind of, but... Because I think one player could, say Logan Ryan. That's probably the best example. He was really a leader of that defense, even though he wasn't like a captain, or actually I think he was for a couple games. But he wasn't like a captain or anything else. He was just like very well respected out of everyone there. He was kind of like the, I guess, the emotional leader for like the defensive backs.
Peace out, Jason.
And I could see that more with like Carlos Dunlap over Leo. I just see him being more that type of person and player, I guess.
So you're saying Dunlap is a better leader than Leonard Williams, not necessarily a better player?
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
Okay, that is something that I could understand and get to see. The leader aspect of it and whatnot, especially because I've been saying nobody really likes how Leonard Williams is so focused on the money, but even I feel like we have that leader on the defense in general figured out. You mentioned him in Ryan. There's other guys like Peppers, Blake Martinez as well. Like if we don't have the leader on the defense, like say we lose one leader in Tomlinson, it's not like there isn't anybody there to step in and be the leader.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me get to Tommy OC's question or comment. He says, what are the chances Dalvin comes back? I feel as if he has to come back for the reason if we aren't getting a wide receiver or offense, we need to keep our D-line intact. Dave already said he wanted the two back. Yeah, I want the two back as well. It's just how realistic is it? And I want to keep everybody intact too, just because that defense could only get better with another year of playing each other, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see Dalvin back. Dalvin Tomlinson and Leonard Williams are like the biggest, I'd say, duo on that entire defense. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then Jay says Leo transformed the D both in 19 and 20, and we got two other people heading out, Frosty and Tommy. I mean, have a good one, guys. Yeah, it is getting a bit late, so I'm going to speed it up because I only got like two more guys after this as well. Let me get your last thoughts here, Assorted Fruits.
Last thoughts. Oh God, I don't really know. I'm just gonna say that like Leo has had I'd say two good seasons so far. Because last year with the Giants and this year with the Giants, Carlos Dunlap has had like multiple good seasons. Obviously playing in a
longer career.
And then I'd also say a slightly tougher division, but
also for that career, a better team overall than what the Giants have been. Like up until a couple of years ago, Cincinnati was a annual playoff team.
True. And I also need to think that Leo played for the Jets too, and that was a really tough division.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, no, you bring up a great debate with the Carlos Dunlap, man. Want to have a good one.
Yep, you too.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a supporter. Next up, we got Big Pat Sports Talk. Pat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I was just waiting for a long time. What's going on, Hub?
What's up, man? Bro, what's up with this camera angle, bro? You gotta fix the camera angle, man. It's a weird. It's like I'm looking up at you. Like have it a bit higher or something.
I have to fix it, man.
Mm-hmm. But what's up, man? Leo getting tagged, bro.
Yeah. We said that though. We said he was gonna get tagged. Well, at least I know I did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at it. He's actually an important part to the defense. The more I look at it, Dave Gettleman finds defensive tackles all the time. He has a track record of finding defensive tackles. I'm gonna miss Tomlinson, but I believe he can find someone that can fill that role. Actually,
and once again, Pat, would you say we already had that someone on the team?
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence could fill that role. We could put BJ Hill on the other side, or McIntosh, or we could get somebody in the draft that could fill that other DN position on rush plays. But shoot, either Carter Coughlin actually did pretty well when he was actually at the other DN on rush plays. When you look at the film, so he can replace Dalvin. I'm quite sure he can.
Thank you, Tommy. But yeah, go ahead. You were gonna say something else because you kind of paused.
Only thing I didn't like about that press conference today, they said they had confidence in Evan Engram.
Listen, bro. I said the same thing. I'm like, there's a difference. Pat, tell me not. There's a difference between just standing up for your player because he's your player and you're not gonna throw him under the bus, and then praising your player. There's a difference.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a smoke screen because they're trying to trade him. And they don't
I hope.
I hope so.
When Judge said, "I love Evan Engram. Evan's a great guy," in locker room, he's like, "I'm like, nah, that's like look at the language you use with Evan Engram and the language you use with Dalvin Tomlinson." I said it on Twitter. The language you use with Dalvin Tomlinson telling me he's not expecting Tomlinson to be back. The language you use with Evan Engram is telling me he wants Engram to be here.
He's gonna be back, and he wants him to be back. Like that's crazy. And also, I told you that's what our offensive line was gonna be. I told you it was gonna be Thomas, Hernandez, Gates, Lemieux, then Peart.
I don't know why you telling me that like I was heavily denying it or something. People forget so quickly. And Pat, I know you haven't been watching me since last year's offseason because that's when my channel was like, it wasn't even at 1,000 subs yet. But last year's offseason, people forget, I mocked Matt Peart to us. Not only did I mock him to us, I mocked him to us where we picked him. Round 3, pick 99, 100% accuracy. I didn't mock Shane Lemieux to us, but guess who I did? I mocked the guy who played right next to him, the Oregon center. I think his name was something Hansen. His last name was Hansen. I mocked him to us. I was looking at Oregon's line. I know who Shane Lemieux was. I know these guys. It's just for me, I don't have complete confidence in them starting yet. Do I know they're going to start eventually? Yeah, but I need to see a little bit more. But I know about these guys since last year.
Yeah, I have confidence in Matt Peart. He did pretty well when he was in there. And considering he was just a rookie and he was a third-round pick, which I told people when we picked him in the third round, that was a very good pick. I said him and Thomas are going to be our starters within 2 to 3 years. And guess what? Year 2, they're going to be our starters. Only thing, I don't hate it, but I hate that we're going to lose, Zeitler, but we have no choice now. You have no choice.
I agree. But I hate it, but with the tag, it only makes sense to let him go to make that money for the tag.
You're going to release Zeitler to get the money for the tag, and you're going to release Nate Solder post-June, and they're going to use that to sign the draft picks. I already know what they're going to do with those two guys.
That's a good – thank you for bringing that up. The Solder post-June is not going to be used, in my opinion, for free agents because, at that point, you're going to be looking at really, really cheap free agents in June. It's going to be used for the draft picks, yeah.
And then, we got a couple more candidates I believe they said during the press conference they don't believe in restructuring, and I do believe they don't believe in restructuring. There's only one candidate that they will restructure, and I believe that's Shepard. And I believe Shepard would take a restructure.
I agree. Yeah.
Just bring somebody in like a receiver if they feel that if they can restructure him and bring in a receiver like Josh Reynolds or Rashad Higgins or even
just a cheap outside depth.
Yeah, what's the guy from the Raiders that played with the Eagles?
Aguilar.
I wouldn't mind having Aguilar there too. When I look at the way
he might be a bit more pricey than Higgins and Reynolds, though.
Yeah, I believe he'd be around the 8 to 10 million. Or
you see, if I'm signing somebody, I want to do what KB did in his video, which is sign a depth guy for the outside. I'm really getting away from signing guys like Aguilar, like Samuel, like Davis, because they're gonna be around that 10 mil mark.
If you look at my live that I had right before yours, me and Jaden, we were getting into it about Bateman versus Waddle.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, man, I believe Bateman fits this offense better than what Waddle would. I'm telling you.
I won't disagree with you, but if it comes down to talking who the better player is, it's still Jalen Waddle.
So you believe Jalen Waddle is the better player?
I believe Jalen Waddle's the better player. I believe the better fit probably is Bateman just because of the size. And also, I think Bateman mirrored that's Brian when he was in college. He said something like that. I might be misinterpreting somebody else, but yeah.
I believe Bateman, his ceiling could be like a miniature Julio Jones. The way he runs his routes and his deceptive speed that he has, and he goes up and gets that ball. He can be Daniel Jones #1. He could be that blanket that he needs, the back shoulder throw that we can throw on 3rd and 8 when we need a back shoulder throw. I like how Rodgers throws it to Devontae Adams or how Hopkins always does it. Mm-hmm. We need a receiver like that. I don't think Jason Garrett has the mind.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, the only receiver, to use Diggy term, the term that Diggy uses, the only receiver in this draft that is Garrett proof is Chase. Anybody else, I got faith that Garrett can mess it up with anybody else.
Yeah, Chase can work on anybody, but I think he would screw up Waddle, and I think he would screw up Smith. I think he would.
And Bateman too. He would screw up Bateman. Don't get it twisted.
It's gonna be hard to screw up Bateman, man.
He is.
He had his good moments last year too. I'm not gonna lie to you. He had his good
peace out, Bradley. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's getting late, guys, but peace out.
He had his good moments at times, but I'll say this: if we don't make the playoffs this year and we have a bad year, they're gonna fire him. They're gonna fire Gettleman, and they're gonna try to replace Jones.
Yeah, I feel like that's the general feeling around it right now.
I promise you, they're gonna get rid of all 3 of them. But
call me crazy. I don't know why this popped into my mind. It's because it's getting late. It's because I'm getting delirious. I need to sleep. In the worst case scenario where we have a terrible year and they do fire Gelman, they fire Garrett, and they're looking to replace Jones, that's when the Giants would be in talks, legit talks for Deshaun Watson. Because I think Deshaun Watson is going to stay with Houston this year.
I think
not by his choice, but by Houston's choice.
I think he stays with Houston this year. Only team that I see that he could be traded to is the Bears.
Yeah.
I believe the Bears are either going to get him or Wilson this year. I believe so. And who said AJ Green? Heck no. AJ Green is washed.
He's trying to say the only way I'm signing AJ Green for depth is if he's signing for $6 million. That's it.
I'm signing up for $6 million. AJ Green is gone. He's not AJ Green anymore. He's just A.
That's why I said for depth, bro. If you're signing AJ Green for $6 million to be your 4th or 5th receiver, you're not doing that for $6 million.
Man, that's a waste of money.
To be your 4th receiver, no, not even your 5th receiver.
That's a
because you're gonna get somebody in the draft.
That's a waste. He's not even going to be interested in playing. He's a #1.
No, I'm saying in the fantasy world where he signs for $6 million.
In the fantasy world, yes, but in the
there you go. That's all it needs to hear, Big Pat. Because we're talking absolutes right now.
In the real world, that doesn't happen, man.
It's not gonna happen.
Oh, but like I keep telling fans, Giants Twitter and everybody, don't be surprised we don't make no huge splash this offseason because it's not. We already made our huge splash, and that's bringing back Leo Williams. That's the only thing we can do because
it was the same thing last offseason. The biggest splash was technically the franchise tag of Williams.
Yep, and we lost so much cap room. That's another thing that's killing me. They say, "Oh, the Giants didn't do good with their cap." You do know that
we're missing $40 million.
Yeah, took over half our cap room. Next year, we might be up to $100 million.
I agree with you. Glad bringing up. I said that earlier in the live stream as well. People misinterpret what we say a lot of the times because I had a dude on Twitter telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about with the cap space. We're good with cap space for the future. I'm like, yeah, right now though. Right now, we're strapped for cap. Right now, we are struggling with cap space. That's a fact. All you have to do is look at it. Right now, we're not good. The future, yes, we're all good for the future because that's assuming that there's not going to be $40 million missing from the cap space next year. But right now, we are, and that's because of COVID. It's not because of Dave Yeoman. It's not because of any contracts, because people always ask, how are we so low? It's, well, bro, it's called missing $40 million getting taken away from you because of COVID. Like,
do you know the miracle that man Dave Gettleman has worked with our cap room? Do you know how
people forget when we were actually in cap hell? People think we're in cap hell right now. We were in cap hell when Gettleman got here, and we're not anymore.
People like the Eagles because of the Jenkins contract, the Snacks contract, the what's the guy Vernon contract. Landon, man, like they wanted us to give Landon Collins money. Come on, man. Look, that man actually had us set up this year. If we would have had our full cap room, he had it where we could have.
Bro, Pat, if we had
and got Allen Robinson or somebody like that.
If we had $40 million more this year, right? So before the Williams side, we were at like 8. We would have like say $50 million in cap space right now, right? We're getting Williams. We're probably even getting him on an extension, not the franchise tag. We could definitely get Tomlinson back. We're signing either a corner 2 or a linebacker 2. So you know what? I'll say we signed Van Noy for like $7 million, and we still got room for both the rookie class and maybe a second or third tier receiver.
And this is before Zeitler.
That's before Zeitler, Solder, all that. Yeah,
all the people that we were going to release, like Golden Tate. That man has worked a miracle. Wait till next year. We want to see progress this year. We make the playoffs this year, and that very next year when we have all that cap room, that's when they're going to make the big boom signing. That's when they're going to try
to be honest, it's not like we need too many big boom signings. We need like one.
We need
2.
One. Or we trade for Deshaun Watson next year, like you said.
In the worst case scenario that DJ fails and like everybody gets fired, then yeah, I can see that happening.
Cap room to cover his contract. We just got to give up picks. And Deshaun, I would say that I love Daniel Jones, but if we had Deshaun Watson, we're automatically a playoff team. Automatically.
Tommy C saying here, when most people think of Dave, they think of OBJ trade and say he's bad. However, he's the most underrated GM in the NFC East. Probably the best. Most of the moves he's made has worked out for the most part. I'd say he's the best. He's definitely better than Philly. He's better than Dallas. And the only competitor is Washington. And you know what? I'd say he's better than Washington too.
Right. I don't blame him for Nate Solder. You can't tell me that if he knew that Nate Solder wasn't going to pan out, that he would have signed him. We needed linemen. He made the choice to grab a lineman.
Just like, by the way, Pat, even though, you know, I say it all the time, Saquon was the best player in that draft, so that's why I think he will always be the right pick. Positional value-wise, which is something people have been loved to say in the past couple months, he wasn't. That's a fact. People forget, though, we needed a running back no matter what. We did need a running back. It's not like we didn't need a running back.
The people that they say that we should have took suck. Sam Darnold sucks. Rosen is not even in the league. So I think he made the right choice there. He made
the only guy you could possibly say is Nelson, but a guard at 2, like even then you'd have people saying a guard that.
That doesn't happen at all. Nobody was thinking of Quentin Nelson at number 2. I'm sorry. And then Daniel Jones, we have to wait and see. That would be his end all if Daniel Jones doesn't pay it.
And we knew that since he picked DJ. Like everybody knew from the moment the DJ pick was made, we're like, his career lies with Daniel Jones.
Right. If Daniel Jones doesn't pan out, he's going to be fired. But I think he's going to pan out.
I'll say this. He's going to pan out if we have the offseason we need, which is to get him some weapons.
I believe they're going to get him weapons throughout the draft. I believe they go receiver first round,
and then
they
somewhere
go
else.
defense probably the second and third round, and I think they go offense the rest of the way. I think they're gonna go. I think that they're gonna get him a backup running back because I could pretty much guarantee Wayne Gallman's gone.
I still think that we could get a backup running back like in an undrafted free agent, but that's just me.
I say going in like 7th round to get one.
Well, we don't have a 7th round, so it would be 6th.
The 6th. Oh well, we'll just wait till undrafted free agent, like you said. But they're gonna get a backup offensive lineman in the draft. They're gonna get a receiver in the draft, and they're gonna get a defensive tackle or defensive end in the draft. He's not gonna go a whole draft without getting a hog molly on defense. That's just sorry. That's Dave Gettleman.
No, what we're gonna get. It's not even just Dave Gettleman. We kind of need it for the depth at this point, since we're probably gonna be getting rid of Zeitler. Schwartz says, "What free agent wide receiver is the most realistic possibility standing right now? Anybody that's not a first-tier wide receiver."
Right. Anybody that's not a first-tier wide receiver. And Samuel would be cool, but do you think he brings enough to where our offense could be legit?
No, I even said it in that video that I made. At this point, it's 2 months old, and a lot has changed since January 19th when I released my Curtis. Think about that for a second. I made my Curtis Samuel video on January 19th. Yeah. It's been a while since then. A lot of stuff has changed. Even in that video, I said back then my scenario was sign Curtis, draft a wide receiver, and our offense will be fine. Now, we can't even probably afford Curtis, and that's not saying Curtis is going to get a lot of money. It's just saying we currently don't have space for him.
Have 12 million. 10
yeah, at this point, I'm literally whatever you do, don't sign any wide receivers. Take your wide receivers in the draft the first round, and then take a depth guy somewhere else.
Yep. Like I said, I believe with the Lions not franchising Galladay though, that kind of throws a wrench.
I want Galladay to go to the Dolphins.
I want him to go to the Dolphins.
He's been connected to.
Huh?
I said he's been connected to the Dolphins too.
Yeah. And then because if he doesn't go, I think they draft Waddle. I think they draft Waddle immediately if he doesn't go there.
I think they draft Smith actually.
Smith?
And Smith and Galladay kind of remind me of each other a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be stupid. Waddle fits Miami perfectly.
Waddle fits Miami. No, I think Smith fits Miami more, to be honest with you.
Why?
Because you look at what Devontae did in college, right? Like when I did the mock draft on him and I looked at his tape, like half of his routes, half of his catches, half of his big plays came from him going over the middle. That's what he fed and feasted on at the college level, going over the middle.
But Jalen Waddle does that even better than he does.
Yeah, but here's my thing. I'm saying Devontae will be best in the NFL level by going over the middle, and that's what Miami needs.
I have to check that out, man. I think Waddle fits them absolutely perfectly. Smith will fit them good as well, but I think Waddle fits them perfectly.
But yeah, I hope he goes to Miami because it simply means that's one less team to take a receiver before us.
And what makes it so bad, I think Jamar Chase might actually drop to the Lions.
Facts. There's a realistic chance that happens. Like it depends on the Eagles, to be honest with you. It depends on the Eagles, to be honest with you.
What the Eagles do, and I think they go offensive lineman.
Slater at 6.
Mm-hmm. I think they go.
So why would it make you angry if the Lions go Chase? I would. The only reason I'd be mad is because it means
we will be in reacher's distance of Jamar Chase.
Nah, we're still 4 picks away, bro. That's a lot of picks.
If the Lions don't take him, who's gonna take him? The Cowboys ain't gonna take him.
I mean, if the Lions don't take him, he could drop to us, yes, but that's still 4 picks away. We're not really in reaching distance, I would say.
Boy, if Jamar Chase dropped to us on draft night, boy, that'd be a chat for the ages.
Bro, Henny is everywhere, bro, if that happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Black and Miles, Henny everywhere, bro.
Straight up, man. But shoot, I'm gonna let you get off, man. You've been on here almost 2.5 hours, man.
Yeah, I got one more person. I got Jaden. Jaden, I'm gonna let you get in a couple, bro. You're calling kind of late. Usually calling early, but I could only get a couple, and then I'm gonna have to call tonight, yo. Thank you for calling in, Big Pat, guys. Go over and check out his channel.
One last thing, check out the channel, Big Pat Sports Talk Hub. I might have a surprise on the live tomorrow. I might have
What time?
Might be around 8:30.
Okay, I could tune in then.
Franchise players from the FCF league on the stream tomorrow night. Ladarius Galloway and Cavante Turpin.
Really?
Yeah. So tune in, man. And they're gonna answer questions from fans and everything. I'm in talks with them doing it now.
That's pretty cool. I don't even know how you secured that, but guys, make sure you go over there and check him out.
Man, I'm Big Pat, man. But man, subscribe to the channel, man. I need all you guys' support. And shout out for you guys supporting Benny, getting them over 100 subscribers tonight, man. That was real special and that was dope.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, man. Guys, remember 8:30 tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
FCS. And then of course, when you're done with that, come right up with Young Guns at 9:30.
All right.
Big Pat, have a good one, man. Peace.
All right.
Next up, we got Jaden the Champ. Jaden. All right, bro. What's up, man? You're
the champ gets the main event just like Stone Cold and The Rock, like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's about time.
And Batista and Triple H, Orton, go down the list. Michaels.
Yep. And he said, shout out to Big Pat because I was on his podcast earlier, going back and forth all day.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I don't want Rashawn Bateman number 11.
Why?
Because Jason Garrett not going to use him right anyway. Because, look, I don't trust Jason Garrett with any wide receiver if we even get any.
Mm-hmm.
Because do you think, is he going to use him correctly, though?
The only one, once again, to use Diggy's term, that's Garrett proof 100% is Chase. That's it.
Because I want Jalen Waddle because I was going for corner, but I thought about it. We need a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm. By the way, guys, y'all keep forgetting to remind me during the stream to do the Manscaped promo. All right. It's at the end of the stream, and I just realized, remind me during the stream, guys, like halfway through, like an hour in. There's not that many people here as there was like halfway through, but go over to Manscaped, use the code HUBHUB, get 20% off, free shipping, support the channel directly. And to go to your Bateman thing, say again why you don't want him, not just the Garrett thing. You said something after that.
I just wouldn't think he wouldn't fit for the Giants, though. It's just in my opinion.
Really?
Well, he would fit, but thing is, are we going to draft him, though?
That's what you weren't saying earlier, though. You said you don't want him. That's not, are we going to draft him?
Nah, I prefer Jalen Waddle.
I mean, if Waddle is there, if it's a choice between Waddle and Bateman, I also am going Waddle. But if, like, let's say none of the three are there and it's Bateman, why wouldn't you take Bateman?
I don't think Dave Gettleman would want to pick him, though.
Why?
Because I would feel like we'll go, like, corner maybe in the first round. That's something Dave Gettleman would do.
No, I'm saying, why do you think Dave Gettleman wouldn't take Bateman? Not like, don't give me, like, he'd go corner. Tell me why he wouldn't take Bateman.
Only because, like, I don't think he wouldn't trust him to be on the team because it's like last year. We ain't take any wide receiver in the draft.
Nah, you see, you keep avoiding the question. What about Bateman would make Gettleman not take Bateman?
He's not gonna get him though. That's not gonna happen. I'm telling you.
You gotta tell me. You gotta tell me what about Rashad Bateman would make Dave Gettleman not take Rashad Bateman. Don't tell me, oh, he's gonna take this other completely different position or something from last year. We're in 2021. What about Rashad Bateman would make Dave Gettleman not take him if he's there at 11 and they'll know what a wide receiver is there?
Because, like, I don't know, because, like, I don't watch film as much as y'all do because I do other stuff. And also, like, do you think Rashad Bateman could get separation on routes against the elite NFL corners?
I do. Yes, I do. I think he's that good. I think he could get separation. And if he can get separation, I will take him in a 50-50, ball against most corners. Most. That's what I'll say.
Because if we do get him, we could get like a wide receiver in the 6th round or 5th round, like Warren Jackson, something like that.
Well, yeah, then they would be the depth pick, right?
Yeah.
But you were talking to me about corner. You want to get into that? You were talking about the corner as well.
Yeah, I want a corner. I'll probably do it in free agency because no. I'll draft one maybe in the 3rd round. Whoever you said, I'll just go with that.
Oh, Paulson and Debo?
Yeah, because in the 2nd round, I can see us going Chad Surratt or any linebacker that's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
In the 4th round, I'll probably look at offensive line maybe. Would you consider that?
In the fourth, yeah, in that situation, if we go receiver, linebacker, corner, then yeah, I'm definitely going offensive line in the fourth. Maybe the guy who a lot of people love with good reason, the Senior Bowl standout, Ben Cleveland, out of Georgia, guard.
Also, I seen a comment earlier from Kid Blue. He like icy item. Oh no, just no.
You don't like Isaac Adam?
No, not in zone, not in man to man. I just don't. I mean, I just don't like him at all.
You just want somebody. You just want a legit number 2 corner.
Yeah, who knows how to press up and man to man coverage, so we ain't got to worry about doing zone all the time.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you this, right? We did great with zone coverage this year. James Bradbury had his career year playing zone coverage.
Wait, who's the other corner that was doing good as him though?
Well, does that matter when we were one of the best pass defenses in the year with zone coverage? That's what I'm saying. Like, should we really go to this man press that everybody isn't talking about when the defense as a whole was top 10 in the NFL using zone coverage, and James Bradbury was playing at an all-pro level playing zone coverage, not man? Should we switch back to man? Like, why would you risk it?
I mean, I like man to man better because wide receivers can't get open so much. Because when we are zone coverage, they do like dig and duns, like 5-yard pass plays, like you could run the ball.
And what you're saying is true, right? And that could be applied to zone coverage as a general statement. But if we're looking like at what the Giants did, we succeeded with the zone, right? Like look at how Bradbury was playing man in Carolina for the entirety of his career before he came to the Giants, right? He was an average, above average corner at best. He came here, he's playing zone, and it's like Patrick Graham. It's like a Frankenstein monster. He made it just kind of out of nothing, and Bradbury becomes a top 5 corner in the league. Do you think that he'll still be a top 5 corner in the league if he goes back to playing that man?
I mean, I got faith for James Bradbury. I think he could personally do it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I was feeling going to next year, we might do a lot of zone coverage with Patrick Graham. Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of zone, so get ready for that.
Mm-hmm. But no, I just wanted to bring that up because it's not something a lot of people talk about. People are looking specifically for a man corner when I'm like, that may not be the case. Pat Graham could be saying, yo, this worked out, and this worked out splendidly. Like the best case scenario type of working out. Maybe he'll keep it zone. But yeah, let me get your last thought because it's now 11:56.
The champ gets the main event. I was freestyling earlier before I got on the show because I was going over that one round, just that like a couple bars.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was feeling I was about to mess it up.
You gonna say it now?
Yeah, I got it. All right. Wait, is the chat ready though?
The chat's ready, yeah.
All right. Listen, I don't like go to tape. They sold the Evan Engram. I consider them 3 of them as fake men. At number 11, I'm drafting Jalen Waddle, not Rashad Bateman. Because look, you know Evan Engram, he used to be fast to catch back days. Nah, right now he's a buzz. In today's world, I'm saying, and Dave Gettleman, Joe Judge, we trust. But
oh, you're not done?
Nah. It's not the freestyle that I wanted to be, but
yeah, that was good. It wasn't like it was bad. That was good. Let's get some applause emojis. That was
also,
good.
I got a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you're a Giants hater, please close your mouth with some tape. Hub. Use the promo code down below with the free shipping called Manscaped.
I like that one. Thank you. If you called in earlier, bro, it would have made me do a promo earlier.
Also,
yeah.
Also, don't forget to use the Manscaped before the stream ends.
Guys, use the code direct support. Thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to Jaden for dropping the bars once again. He did it last time he was here too, last Tuesday.
Because next week I will do it again.
He will do it again next week. Have a good one, Jaden.
All right.
And shout out to everybody, y'all. Thank you all for tuning in. You guys have been great. Kept it at a nice, consistent viewership for 2.5 hours now. I'm be out. Use the code at the website. Support the channel. Thank you all for tuning in.